Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Greg.
How are you?
I'm great.
I haven't seen you in forever.
I know, right? Whole couple
It's
days.
it's been 2 days,
It literally has been 2 days.
literally. That was an awesome party,
I know it
right?
was. No, trying to keep that from Frank was so impossible too. I
Yeah.
literally, because I started helping Andrea plan it like from the very get go, and when she said she was going to do it, I'm like, oh man, there's so many people. I was just waiting for somebody to slip up and like post their travel plans. Be-
Dude,
I had an excuse because I was doing this podcast today, so I told Frank I was going to Philly, and I said, "Hey, if you have time,
excuse me.
I'd love to see you while we're up there because it's not that long of a drive."
Right.
But yeah, keeping it like, especially as much as people talk in the auto industry.
I know. I know. And even it's like I know there were some posts when I wished him a happy birthday or something. It was like I would. It was hard not to say see you soon. Or,
Yeah, oh, I
it was
know.
like, because I had no plans to see him soon other than going to the party. For those of you, that's kind of rude to all the people listening. It was Frank Lopes, friend of ours, big shot digital marketer. What else would you call Frank? Keynote,
Frank's just an
MC,
amazing human.
an
He really is.
amazing human would cover it. And his
Yeah.
wife is unbelievable.
Their
And we
whole
were talking
family.
about before the podcast, their son, Preston, is 10 years old. I walk in the party room before Frank arrived because it was a surprise party, which obviously, based on what we were just talking about, would be a
Right.
surprise party. And he walks up to me, straight in my eyes, puts his hand out, and introduces himself. Welcome to the party, yada, yada. I went blank after he said his
He
name.
did that to like every guest too.
Everybody.
He walked up, handshake or a hug, told all the ladies they looked beautiful. I mean, that kid is just a rock star.
I
He's amazing. I love Preston.
I lost it. I was so impressed, and because it was so, I completely forgot. I went blank, and then when I collected myself, because it was so, just awesome, outstanding way to be, great parenting, in my opinion. Instead of some kids go run and hide in the corner, and like I don't want to talk to any adults, and
And then he gave that speech.
oh, thank
Tears,
God.
tears.
My friend assistant Joanna got that on tape and put it in on her phone and put it everywhere. That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for making my mommy happy, and thank you for making me better. What 10-year-old talks like that?
He is such an outstanding kid. I
Yeah.
mean, really, from the minute that very first time I ever met Preston and Andrea, and like we sat around Frank's dinner table back in April, and I'm telling you, that kid was just so impressive.
Yeah.
From the very minute that we got there,
Yeah.
he was just welcoming, and yeah, he really is. But that's a testament
Yeah.
to the kind of people that Frank and Andrea are. When you
Right.
have a kid that's like that,
Right.
that's exactly what that is. He's awesome. Yeah.
How about the notes that his mom, that Andrea writes him every day to
I
school,
know
the
the little
jokes?
post-it jokes. Those
They're-
are so cute.
Yeah, and I didn't know whether to bring it up to him or not because at 10's a little awkward age. It's like, come on, Mom, right?
Right.
I mean, because it could go that way and probably will like next year, where they change like every 10 seconds.
Yeah, 11's
kids.
like the new 16 when we were
Right,
kids. So,
exactly.
yeah.
But I said, I think it's really cool, the jokes. And then he, forgive me, Preston, if you listen to this. But there was one that he brought up that he thought was particularly funny, and so it was kind of cool to see that. So, hey, thanks for being on here today.
Thanks for having me, man. This is like really awesome.
Yeah.
It really is. Literally 3 years ago when I was in the swing of this and going through just horrible crap, like nobody knew really who I was, and to be able to go from that to making the connections, and I literally am that person who's constantly like, what can I do for you? How can I help you? Never expecting anything, but to be able to get from that point to now and be a part of this just amazing circle and tribe of people, and now to be like on your podcast, it's one of those things that really, like, I can't put into words.
You really do, and I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt here. That's not a very woke thing to say, is it?
Craig
right?
Lockhart's woke.
Yeah.
Newsflash.
Hardly. I am hardly woke. What's the opposite of woke?
Unwoke?
Get off my porch, I guess.
Right?
Yeah. It's kind of cool about being 68. Like, I'm really headed towards being able to say anything I want to say. And then people say, oh, shit, give him a break. He's old. So, but you literally do offer help to everyone for anything, probably to a fault.
I do. And, sometimes I think it gets me in trouble to an extent because there are
Probably.
people out there
Take advantage
that are,
of it?
oh, yeah.
You bet.
I'll get calls and emails all the time from people that go, oh, hey, I've got this quick thing. Can you do it? And then it's like hours of, but you know what? I really believe like everything that I post on, even on social, like you'll see it's always like hashtag Rerise Together. And I believe that wholeheartedly, like with every part of my core. And the reason I got to where I was at is because, to a fault, I was that person. I was the same person on social as you see in person. Like, anytime people need something, I literally believe that in reciprocity marketing, that's what I do.
Yep.
You give to receive. And I never went out and pitched people. I never blew up inboxes. I never gave, a lame attempt at getting sales. It was literally like, how can I help you? And the more that I asked people, how can I help you? And got my name out there, people started to share my content. People started to put a name to a face. People started to recognize my company.
Yes.
And that's it. It really is.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
I know. And it falls right in line with what we talk about. One of the main basics of AutoMax recruiting was, Rule 10 from Og Mandino's A Better Way to Live, treating everyone you meet as though they're going to be dead tonight at midnight, and yada, yada, yada. And the end of it is expecting nothing in return, which you
That's it.
live. However, some things do need to be monetized,
Agreed.
and you need paid.
Agreed. And you know what? I'm telling you, Frank Lopes, we keep talking about Frank, and every conversation today is probably going to go back to that. But, it was really funny.
Pay up, Frank.
No, I probably owe Frank money for literally, I'm forever indebted to that man for what he did for me.
Frank invoiced Michelle for something.
Right. No, we literally, we sat around his dining room table. I was up here for a conference. I was at the Morris Growth Con with Danelle Delgado and James Jacoby. And
At the what?
Morris Growth Con back in April.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, Anthony was there. Okay, so yeah, we were up here for that, and I had dinner with Frank and Andrea and Anthony Alagona, and just it was just to sit around the dinner table and BS thing, and I asked Frank, point blank, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I really don't. And he goes, well, for starters, no one knows what the hell Dealer Dash means. I mean, he was just as frank could be, for a lack of a better term, and I was like, but I've spent my life, like my whole 5 years that I've been building this, like that's what my brand is. And he goes, but nobody knows what it means. And he's like, you need to rebrand. You need to you need to change the name of your company so people know what it is. And I was terrified. I literally was. It'd be like somebody walking up to you and going, hey, Craig, AutoMax Recruiting needs to be a totally different company now that you've spent all your time and effort. And I was scared, but I said, you know what? This man has gone before me and done all of these things, and he's in a position of where I want to be with my career and with my business. And he said, you just assume it. Just assume it. People aren't following the name of your business. They're following you. They're following the face. They're following your personality. They're following everything that Michelle McLain does.
Right. You are the brand.
Yeah, I try to explain that to people because now a lot of the clients, like we do reciprocity marketing and I do client retention and follow-up and all of that, but I'm starting to see this shift probably just in the last 6 months since I rebranded. And now a lot more people are coming to me about social marketing, reciprocity marketing on the social media platforms and building their brands up. And that wasn't what I set out to do, but I became really good at it. I just became a student of social marketing and how to get your name and branding out there. And now that's kind of funny because I do probably half and half now of social media marketing for businesses and clients, most of whom aren't even in the auto industry. So it's funny how that happens. And then, we still do the typical post-sale follow-up and client thing, but I don't know. It's just completely shifted. So I'm forever indebted to Frank because he changed things for me.
Well, when he was on it, and you're absolutely right, when he was on the podcast, after the podcast, he gave me two things, suggestions, unsolicited, the way Frank is.
That's how Frank is.
Right. And over the weekend, I thought about it. And I go, you know what? He's right. And we've made those changes.
He is usually
What
right.
we're doing right now is, I'll tell you after the podcast, part of the change. One of the changes he suggested.
He's no holds barred. He
Yeah,
just
no
tells
shit.
it like it is.
Yeah, he does.
But you know
Yeah.
what? There's such a lack of people like that in this world. But at the same time, he's also that person that I think he just naturally earns your respect. You know, he's that human being. And he's earned the right in this circle to be
Right.
able to speak freely because I
Right.
think 90% of us are going to listen to what he has to say.
Yeah. Let me ask you something.
Sure.
So if I share this from AutoMax Recruiting, from our Facebook AutoMax Recruiting page, if I share this live to a watch party, do those views count towards the total views? Do you
I
know?
believe they do. Yeah. So your total views actually go into consideration.
Right.
So even with the watch party, yeah.
So rather than, yeah, that probably makes more sense, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Than
are you going to
just
share it into a group and start a watch party? Or
No, in
how are you
my
doing?
timeline,
Okay. Yeah, you can do that too.
right?
Yeah. Did you here? Actually, you know what? I should probably share it out. I have a
Watch
feeling.
party. Yeah, share away, kid.
I have a feeling that.
Dead air. Say something.
Say something. Something. No, I'm trying to share this out, and I'm like I said, it's a good thing that I put my phone on D&D because in the last 5 minutes I've gotten literally like 4 different client texts. So, and I told everyone I was like, guys, like from 12 to 4-ish today, ish. I always use the word ish. I said I'm not gonna be able to take calls or texts or emails, and yet that's the same time they all decide that they're going to start texting. So,
Adam Aarons just texted me.
that's usually how it works, right?
Adam, you're awesome.
Adam is awesome. Adam is like the greatest. Dude, I love
I was
Adam
actually
Aarons.
going to talk about him a little bit today on something. We'll hit that here in a minute.
You should do that.
Adam, I don't know if you're listening to this, but I spoke to Brett just a moment ago. Thank you so much. I love you, and you're awesome, dude.
It's so funny. So, like the very first time I met Adam Aarons, like in person, we've always had great dialogue on social media. But it's really funny because Adam Aarons and I are literally polar opposites. I am like,
How so?
I am a hardcore, and I have no qualms in saying this, but like I'm a very conservative Christian, and I don't make any qualms about doing that. Now he's feedbacking. No, we're good.
Yeah.
No, but I am.
Very professional.
You're good. But I am. And, you know, and Adam Aarons is very devout in his faith and his beliefs. And we don't see eye to eye politically or anything else. But you know what? It's a testament to that kindness is free. It really is. And that you literally have to agree on nothing and you still can respect human beings and you don't have to slander people. I mean, there are so many different people in our industry and outside of it who I'm very dear friends with. My best friend in the whole world who just finally got a chance to meet Adam Aarons. God bless her. She's completely polar for me too. Totally different. She's got MS and she was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. So I connected her with Adam because she lives in Maine, and they're very much alike. Unlike me and Adam and her, that's totally different. But it's crazy because even the people who are completely different from me, even though we know nothing in common, there's that respect there and there's that love there. And Adam exudes that in everything he does. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. Adam respects you. And you know what? It's hard to find people like that. You're very much the same way. Like
Thanks.
you just, you know, it's that's why I love our industry, because we do all come from different backgrounds. And there's this just core tribe of people that no matter what our backgrounds are, we just all embrace and love each other and support each other and help each other. And I would not be where I'm at today if it wasn't for this tribe of human beings. Like, I just wouldn't. And you probably wouldn't be either. I mean, let's face it. They're responsible for everything we all do.
Hey, to that end, help us out. Regardless of where you're watching this thing right now, share it out, please.
Please.
Share it to your timelines, groups, whatever. Share this thing. Michelle's going to have a lot of awesome things to say today. I might throw in a couple. Well, I'll probably lie a little bit, but most of the stuff I tell you, try to hopefully be helpful. So, if you would please share this thing out. Also, remember, and Michelle, when we do this, I told you about this pre-podcast. In about 2 weeks, this will be uploaded to all your favorite audio platforms that you listen to podcasts on, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, what have you. So if you would, And that's the way that you listen to podcasts. Please leave us a review. Appreciate it as well. And something here. And
So awesome.
Adam just left us a bunch of hearts. Thank you, Adam.
We love you, Adam.
Love you, dude. And I don't know if you heard me before. I talked to, I messaged back and forth with Brent here just moments ago. So I appreciate you very much. So I guess him and David Long and you are all buddies. So those are some pretty good referrals and recommendations. So I appreciate it. So when Adam was on the Recruiter podcast here, I don't know, I guess it's been about a month ago almost now. And it's kind of because Subaru uses it, but he's been best dealer to work for. It's like 8 years running. I mean, it's like, you don't do that by accident. So I asked him, why? How does that happen? And Subaru's tagline is love.
Love. It's what makes a Subaru
and that's
Subaru.
But that's what he said.
Yep.
He said just love. And we just let that sit for a minute. Because that's really what does make a place great to work at and for. I firmly believe that the more that you got to pick the right people to work with you and your team, surround yourself with the right people. But if you do that and develop them and love on them like crazy, and it's not about retaining those people, it's about you do not let them leave.
Right.
If a person leaves, they either retire or they've done something really bad. And we make mistakes up front hiring. We hire, it's the old thing that I came up with, did you hire him dead?
Nobody's
or
perfect.
did you kill him after you got him? If you didn't hire him dead, make sure you don't kill him after you got him. Because if you do that, you almost don't have to spend any time worrying about your actual external client or customer. They're just going to naturally be taken care of because your staff is so awesome. They just love working with you or for you, however you want to put it, where they're just naturally going to take care of the customer because they enjoy what they do because you love them. It's not, I don't think it's too corny. It's a little corny, but I don't think it's too corny.
Richard Branson has said, I don't know the exact
right.
line, but yeah, it's something like if you take care of your employees, they'll take care of your customers.
Yeah, exactly. He said that?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Excuse me, Richard Branson. I'm probably out-quoting you, but no, it's very true. And everything that I've ever done in my life, my 20-year career in the industry, I've worked for some great dealers. I've worked for some bad dealers. I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, if I ever and please don't take this as anyone to message me and say, hey, do you want to come work for me? Because no, I enjoy what I do. But if I did ever go back to a dealership, without a shadow of a doubt, Subaru is my passion in life. It's my background. I plan to have my own Subaru store at some point here in the next 5 years, hopefully. I would leave and go for Adam Aarons in a heartbeat. I would work with that man. I would run a store for him. I would literally, he's fantastic. That's probably one of the only people I would ever consider. That and CMA, Scott Simons, Liza, those people, they're phenomenal. If Lisa ever opened another store, those are those few people I would be like, okay, let's put a dealership together because they're just great people at running dealers.
Yeah, well, if ever, it's probably going to happen because I think they're both in pretty much growth mode. Adam, I don't know if they've broken ground, but they're allowed to on the Acura.
I know.
Point, so that's
if I could get Adam Aarons just to open a dealership with me in Denver, I would be all over it. I want to be out in Colorado.
How about you could work for his marijuana plant?
Oh yeah, I could. I don't know. That was my college days. I just can't even stand the smell of it anymore.
Really?
No. I mean, honestly, we went out last night to watch the Patriots game, and I'm sorry about your Phillies losing.
I'm from Ohio.
I'm from Ohio too.
I'm a Browns fan, so.
Oh, my stepdad would love you. He's a Browns fan. I hate Cincinnati. We won't even go into that. Hate the Bengals. Sorry, Bengals fans.
The Bungles.
Oh, we won't get started on them. But no, I'm a big Patriots fan, and now they're talking about having Tom Brady might be leaving or retiring.
Yeah. Wow.
So. I don't know. I've had some good friends that have played for the Patriots too, which is really cool. But yeah, so we went up to this little dive place last night to watch the game because they had 30 TVs. You walk in and
around here?
Yeah, I can't even remember the name of it.
Yeah,
it's literally, it was 2 blocks from our hotel.
Huh.
And really cool place, great food. But literally, we went to go walk in the place, and you could it was just wafted in your face.
Everybody's getting stoned outside.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm not 18 anymore. So yeah.
All right, so let's start here. Well, I guess we already started. Let's start here with the meat of the matter. So you're going to be a car dealer. You're going to be a principal, dealer principal. You've been awarded a franchise. What OEM? What do you want to own? Oh, you just said Subaru. Didn't you?
Well, I want a hybrid store, Subaru and Highline Auto Imports, exotics.
Okay, like what? Let's go ahead and Michelle Motor Cars. McLain
No,
Motor
red carpet Subaru. Literally.
You already got the name.
Oh, I've had this vision.
Red carpet Subaru.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I mean, I literally want a red carpet rolled out for customers. I want a dealership that is very family friendly and centric, which is very different though than a lot of the dealers that you see.
Right.
I think everybody embraces the family friendly dynamic. But me being a woman, I try to look at things more objectively from a mom's point of view. And female car buyers are about 68% of the market. So I think it's important that in some ways we really kind of start catering dealerships. I would like a predominantly female run and own dealership. I think that model works. I know a lot of ladies that have done it successfully.
Yeah.
And but at the same time, I want something that's just going to be a totally different model. I want private areas where women can nurse if they need to. I can't tell you how many times when I worked at a store as a manager, I had women that would come in and they would be lactating, having just had a child, and now they're trying to upgrade into the minivan or the new car. And they go, I'm sorry, we're going to have to postpone this and do this another day because I need to go feed my child. There should be private areas for women to be able to do that. Family-friendly vending machines that have things like diapers and wipes and formula. Maybe you forgot something at home. A food court, that can feed your children, or on-site daycare that, you've got people there who are qualified that can do that. Indoor playground areas for kids. I want something that really, it's an objection-free zone. People can come in as a family. Doesn't matter what your children are. Maybe there's an iPad station if you have older kids. I want something literally that people can go, I'm here to buy a car. I can let my kids go where they need to go. And there's no reason why I have to leave the dealership because of A, B, C, D, E, F, or G.
Right.
And I literally want to roll out a carpet for family and friends and people that come in. I would ideally like to have my own track where people can test drive a series of different vehicles, your top 10 brands.
Yeah. I worked at a store. I sold cars at a store in the 70s that had their own test track.
I think it'd be really awesome. Like even have like go-karts inside of a store, like for kids. I mean, just stuff to keep people engaged. Most dealerships that you walk into, they've got this tiny little area with a bunch of broken crayons. There's nothing for the kids to do.
Yeah.
They don't really have food or beverage options that are healthy. It's here you can get your kid a soda or you get your free coffee or water. Or in the case of the store that posted a few weeks ago, it's $5,000 for the VIP package to get free Wi-Fi and water and coffee when you come in. I was kind of taken back like that. Really? Yeah, that should be included with every dealer. So if your dealership's charging for coffee and water, please stop doing that.
All right, so you've given us some thought, actually. But so just let's come back to that.
Okay.
All right. I do, because it's called the Recruiter Podcast, I do want to talk about people, but and then carry on from there. But I'm interested in knowing what Red Carpet Subaru, you sure? McLain Motors
No.
Incorporated, machine Emporium. It sounds kind of cool, but all right. So we'll make it Red Carpet Subaru. Sorry, the rest of your manufacturers, OEMs, you don't get to have Michelle. So what's it going to look like from people, and then out from that? But this stuff's not free, so I have to thank I have a couple friends of our sponsors here. So where should I start? Let's start with our friends at Dealer World.
Hi, Troy Spring.
Troy is the man. Hunter Swift, Brittany, the whole crew, man. Mark, they're all such amazing people. About a year ago, we had our AutoMax. We called it Max Synergy, I think it was called. It was our 21st anniversary. And we had a conference and had a bunch of people come and speak. And Troy keynoted it. He was our first speaker. Lisa was there. She spoke. And Matt and Chris Walsh. I forget anybody. I ran my mouth. And we had several trainers that spoke. My son Joe spoke and so forth. But Troy has been a friend of mine for a long time. And this guy built a company from, and he tells a story, so it's not, I'm not talking out of school, $65 in his pocket to, I know what they do now, and it's considerably more than $65. And I think that the cool thing about Dealer World is that Dealer World, it's an ad agency, but Troy calls it a performance agency, and it really is. And and he can say that because there's so many people within the organization that have been in the automobile business in terms of retail. So when they do advertising / marketing for your dealership or dealerships, you not only get the ads, the marketing, what's important in marketing and the placement and the frequency and so forth and the creative, but you also get in the event that, well, it's not working, it's not selling any cars, and that kind of thing.
Dealers
it happens
say
in
that?
this kind of
No,
thing.
never.
Yeah. With Dealer World, because Troy's so freaking smart, it's a matter of, okay, well, are you doing this, this, and this? If not, let's try this. Let's do this. So it's not like, hey, shit, you bought the ads, sorry, but that's what happens. We provided you to the traffic. You guys suck. You got to close them. We can't close them. He don't go that way. Where he protects your investment, I guess is the best way to put it. So go to mydealerworld.com, or hit up Hunter Swift, Vice President in charge of marketing and sales. Hunter's a terrific guy. He's out in Utah. Not far from where we used to have an office. We had an office in Alpine, Utah for quite a while, right outside of Salt Lake. But get a hold of Hunter online, or Troy, or Brittany, or Mark, or any of them. But mydealerworld.com, you will not be anything other than over-the-top pleased with the results from that company there. AutoMax, excellent, as we would say. Another one of friends of the program is our friend Stephen Warner from Automotive HR. Dealers, when we get video reviews from dealers, or we get emails, or it's not all of them, but probably half the time, without exaggeration, is, this is said word for word. Where in the world did you find these people? We've been running ads for blah, 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 blah. One guy texted me, and it was really funny. He says, I am absolutely convinced that you have a warehouse, and these are robots. Like you're way far ahead of everybody in terms of artificial intelligence. You've made robots. These people are not real human beings, and you're cheating the whole world. I don't understand why you don't charge more. That's what he says to me. But it's kind of funny. So this is not about us. It's about Automotive HR. This happens to be a platform that we use.
Steven's awesome.
He's
very intelligent.
Super. Here's the thing about Steven in Automotive HR. Most time you got either people that can write code and are tech geeks, but they've not been in the automobile business. Here's a guy that was 27 years in the trenches, so to speak, GSM. Big jobs, running big, huge stores. So he's a quote-unquote car guy, car person, and he's a master of technology. Plus, he's out in the Silicon Valley, so he did, grab some tech nerds. And the technology is so amazing. If you have and most people do, if you have a career tab on your website, and it's not quote unquote attached to anything, a third party like Hireology, KPA, Automotive HR, which is way better, I don't have any problem saying this, is way better than these other companies, which are larger. Automotive HR is just better. If you're not attached to a third party like that, just take your career tab down, because ain't nobody coming to your site for a job. That's not what they're coming to your site for. So it's just wasted real estate on your website. However, if it is, because they're coming to your website for specials, availability, pricing, service hour, or whatever.
Or how about the pages you can't even find a career tab?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know what? It's weird. And see, that's what most of them are under the About tab. Like Paragon Honda uses this platform, and Adam Aarons uses the platform at his stores and so forth. So, but they're under the About Us tab, and I don't know any other way to do it. But when you look at one of these, first of all, they're beautiful because they're career branded. And there's a million things. It's job postings 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And that's a big deal, obviously. It's got its own what's called ATS, applicant tracking system, to whereas you don't have to use your Outlook and create files and stuff. I mean, it's like a CRM for talent. You
Right.
create your own talent network. The most awesome thing, and what really separates Automotive HR from any other platform like Hireology, like KPA, is, and it's relatively new, and he's going to start doing some videos about it. Actually, he showed me the videos the other day, his first cut of them. The so-called back end of it, or the onboarding portion of this platform, is obscene. It's
on fire.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And what this means to you, car dealers, is this: that there is little doubt, no argument, that turnover in our business, it's been talked about enough. It's, you can, there's so many stats on how much it actually costs. Some are reasonable, some sound ridiculous. I can tell you this much in terms of turnover, and a lot of people don't talk about this that much, but if you turn over, let's say, a salesperson that's been at your store for 6 months, say, okay, well, it only costs X amount of dollars to get them, and yeah, maybe she screwed up some ups, and maybe we'll lose a couple of her, people that she sold and want to come back and just buy from her. So there's a certain dollar amount attached to that, right, Michelle?
There is.
Okay, now here's what people don't think about. 6 months later, she's been there a year. She's going to be better than she was at 6 months. 2 years from now, she's going to be better. 3 years from now, she could be 3 times as good. So we're losing potentially, someone that might sell 100 cars their first year, let's just say, could possibly sell 200, 250 by year 3. So then you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars involved in turnover. That people don't think about that you're losing an asset, which a team member employee is, that's appreciating in value, not depreciating. They're getting better, depending, provided you've hired the
Somebody
right
like
person.
Amelia Sapowski. The girl literally has been in the car business for a year.
Yeah, she's
She
like
is
a rock star.
blowing it up. I love her. I mean,
Yeah, she'd be good on the podcast.
She
right?
just moved. She left Charleston and she just moved to Darlington. Now she's running her pretty
Is
much
that South
running the store.
Carolina, too?
Yeah. It's a little bit further north. She's rocking it. She's in all their ads on TV now, and she's exactly the reason why dealers need to really try and start getting their stuff together, because you're going to lose an employee. Most likely, like in that first couple of weeks, if there isn't training, if there isn't like an onboarding process, my God, like how hard is it to have a box of cards waiting for somebody? I remember walking into my first dealership. I had no desk. There was like piles of papers of like old delivery sheets and up cards.
You must have seen our PowerPoint.
No, I mean that literally was my first day in the car business.
That's how I start off every single presentation.
They were like, "Oh, go talk to a customer. No cards, no nothing, no desk to sit at."
Boom, go get them your car.
I mean, and especially that can be really intimidating, especially if you're just starting out and not coming from another store. You've never been in the business,
right?
Especially if you're a woman. Let's just face it: women are typically more organized than men. I'm just going to put it out there.
Yeah.
And it's a woman, and women sell really well in this business. Women do phenomenally in this business. I don't think it really matters so much what background they came from. I think women a lot of times are very well trained. I took a girl who was 3 jobs, a waitress on welfare, and helped her to find a store. And 3 years later, she's calling me, and she's just been promoted to a GSM and making well over 6 figures. Yeah. I mean, the girl was literally just down on her luck. And I'm like, you have a fantastic personality. Let me help you find a right store.
That's a great feeling, isn't it?
It is. I mean, and I didn't want anything out of it, just to get somebody to call and go, I had nothing, and I was on food stamps, and I was waitressing, and I was going to school, and I was doing all of these things, and I had literally no hope in my life. And now here I made $250,000 last year, and I've been promoted, and I'm a GSM. And she called me in tears right before Christmas last year. And that's why I do what I do. I just want to help one person and one more person and one more person. But dealers, like, really, if you can't go to the lengths of making somebody feel comfortable,
What do you mean women are more organized than men?
your closet's very well organized. I will give you that. But in terms of when a woman walks into a dealership for the very first time to start on a sales floor, especially, it can be super intimidating. I mean, we've all been there. I've been in 20 years now. Lisa, like Melissa, we've all been in. But you need to have, it all starts with culture. And it starts at the top. And if you really show your employees from the day that they walk in that, hey, we care, we've got an organized space for you, we've got all of your paperwork ready to go. I'm telling you, every dealership in the country should be using Automotive HR for onboarding.
Yeah, well, I
Hands
agree.
down.
Yeah, and here's the thing, and you're absolutely right, because most turnover happens literally hours in.
Yep.
A day in, a weekend. Now, their bodies might hang around they might grab a few checks for a few months, but they've mentally checked out.
Amen.
And so most of the onboarding can and should be done electronically. There's zero reason that the first hour and a half at a dealership is signing I-9s, employee handbook.
All day?
The ability, right, or all day. Well, actually, you can Google this. It is an hour and 35 minutes or something on average. That's what new hires spend.
I probably spent
paperwork.
6. Like, literally, they just kept throwing stuff
Yeah.
in front of me.
It's stupid.
My first day in the business, 20 years.
When you start, like you said, in my opinion, should be a party, and then all that stuff should be done. So at any rate, well, Automotive HR has an amazing onboarding platform. You must look into it. I got 2 ways for you to do that. Go to automotivehr.com, or if you want to save a couple dollars, and you would save a little bit of money, contact my son, Joe Lockard. I named it Joe Lockard. I thought he was going to be a football player, so I could see him being starting for the Cleveland Browns, number 32, Joe Lockard. It just sounded like really strong. He ended up being, well, he's a pretty big guy, but he ended up being like really super smart. So he's not going to be a football player.
He's saying that football players aren't smart. Now, come on.
Yes, I am. How dare me? So, contact Joe Lockard, AutoMaxRecruitingandTraining.com, or 800-878-5090, or Ernie, my other minority partner and general manager. Joe's the director of operations. Mention the Recruiter podcast, and you get a couple bucks off of Automotive HR, and it's dirt cheap anyway, and it's just awesome. So I'm so happy that they're a friend of the program and a sponsor. So, all right, so back to this. So, all right, so you have an empty building. You have a sign that says Red Carpet Subaru.
Red Carpet Automotive. I don't know. Like I said, ideally, I want... if I'm going to do any kind of a franchise, it's going to be Subaru. I mean, I eat, bleed, sleep Subaru. I love the brand. But, Ryan and I now, we've been together for 2.5 years. And
Yeah,
Ryan...
nice guy.
He's great, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
nice
just
guy.
a good old-fashioned
What's he
country
do?
boy. So he manages all of the really yuppie, expensive properties that are on on Kiowa and Seabrook Island. Like if you come to South Carolina and you want to stay on like the private islands and stay in the $20 million houses, he's probably going to be the one that's making sure everything is done and ready to go.
What do you mean, to rent?
Yeah, so like VRBO or Airbnb, those kind of properties. Yeah, Wyndham Rentals.
And he does what then?
He manages those properties.
I
We've got about
for a minute.
220 of them. What?
Okay, so if I wanted to have a family reunion, and I mean like a really like, have you ever seen any Troy pictures when he goes away in VRBO?
I probably have.
And it's like these mansions with tennis courts and swimming
That's
pools.
what he manages.
Yeah, see, I'd like to get my whole family together and rent a
Best time
like
is to do it off
$1 bazillion
season.
home.
You'll save a lot of money that way.
What's off season down there?
Anytime from October to like the beginning of March, rates are a lot less expensive. Be prepared to spend a lot of money though if you do it on season.
Yeah.
They run upwards of 40 to 50 grand a week. It's insane.
Yeah,
Really
I don't want
insane.
to pay that much. My youngest son has a Airbnb, but most of his business comes from what's it called?
VRBO.
Yeah. And it was like, I thought he was nuts, but I went ahead with it. But he had rented this place in Ventnor near the water down near Atlantic City. And he had rented downstairs, and the upstairs was a yearly rental, and it needed a lot of work. And so the two lawyers own the place, and they came to my son Kyle, said, "Do you want to buy it?" And he runs it by me. I said, "Well, I don't know, man. It's kind of pricey. They, blah 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 blah. Just kind of negative. 'Cause, he's my youngest. He's my baby, so I didn't want to see him get screwed up."
Right.
Long story short, he buys it. He turned this place into. He didn't take any before pictures, which is really unfortunate. He turned a toilet into a absolute gorgeous space, beautiful, and consequently, he just knocked it out of the park, man, with that. So what he does from Memorial Day, just before Memorial Day through just after Labor Day, he does the VRBO, and then the rest of during the winter rentals are big down there, so he rents it, but it's furnished. It's appointed. It's absolutely gorgeous. Excuse me, spent a fortune on it, but he got that money back. It's pays for his mortgage.
These owners, most of them live up this way, like Jersey, New York,
right?
And they just have these properties that they rent out. And some of them are like little 3-4 bedroom townhomes, but they're right on the beach, and they're still like $8 million. So he works directly with management companies in order to get the listings out. They handle all of the maintenance. They have people that are contracted out to handle all of the cleaning, anything that they need while they're there. Literally, he kind of
can he give me a deal, or would I have to go through?
No, we can get you a deal. Yeah, like I said, it just depends on when you want to come, what kind of a property you want. Like I said, there's about 220 different properties between Kiowa, Seabrook Island, Folly Beach, and then they do some stuff on IOP, Isle of Palms too. So they're just kind of all scattered out, on the bigger islands, and it's exclusive, it's private, it's one's more for golf, one's more for just laid back. Just depends on what you want.
I cannot remember the name of it. I was asked to speak at a 20 group, I think it was Ford, and it was at a resort. It was kind of near Charleston, but it was out like a peninsula almost.
It was probably Kiowa.
Yeah.
Kiowa Island. I can't remember for the life of me the name of that hotel.
God.
Everybody asks. Yeah, it's beautiful.
It was knocked out. And
Sanctuary. That's what it's called.
Yes.
The Sanctuary.
Yeah. Oh, that's where it was at.
Yeah.
It was like, I've been blessed to stay in some nice places and
that
in
place
some
is
nice
over
areas.
the top.
Jeez, man, everything was over the top there. It was like, like I don't know, you really can't afford to live there. You got to make $1 billion.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything like with the hotel, but like all of the rental properties, most of them are independently owned,
beautiful,
or they're owned. Some of them are owned by Wyndham.
It's like Disney World pulling out of that property.
Oh yeah,
it's like there's not.
You can't get in without a pass. You can't get out without a pass.
Exactly. Not a cigarette butt. Not a piece of paper. Ain't no McDonald's bags laying around.
No.
Right. It's like it was pristine, beautiful, and
we live like right outside of the gates from there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, we live. So the whole thing is considered John's Island, and the house we just bought, it's back in like a private community. It's in a private HOA that's literally like 10 minutes, if that, from Kiowa and Seabrook.
You got smacked pretty good with that storm.
Oh my God!
When was
we
that,
got
a
hit
month ago?
twice. We got hit twice within
You just
a week.
moved in.
We had just moved in, and the very first weekend that we were there, we had like an abundance of branches and stuff because we have a boat garage in the backyard. Like
you have a boat?
I do not. I'm trying to rent out my boat garage. Like, there's no reason for us to have
a boat. I lived on a boat for a while. I thought it was going to be awesome, and then I ended up with 2. Then I ended up with 3, and I rented a couple out. Living on a boat was okay. Living on a boat and being a bachelor was okay. And then all of a sudden, this was years ago. My son Kyle, my baby, got sent out to me from Ohio. Then being a bachelor living on a boat with an 18-year-old or 19-year-old was not so awesome. But so I had to buy a house.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
We get people all the time that'll ask.
A boat's a pain in the ass, man.
Yeah, we have a private landing dock too in our backyard. So it would be nice to have
big money for that.
Yeah, it would be nice. It's just included in part of the HOA. But I don't have time to own a boat. I just don't. So we'll get people, it's in a private community. But
it's a money sucker.
Yeah, I have people all the time just because it's so expensive. Like even to do the dry storage, like that you stack the boats, it's ridiculous in Charleston. It's like $1,300-ish a month. So
Really?
I've had people just say, "Hey, can I store my boat in your garage for the winter? Like, I'll pay you $500, $800, $900 a month." I'm like, "Hey, well, second income. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just the liability." So I've always,
Why?
well,
You could get a rider on your
right,
insurance
we
for
have to
that.
take out with the homeowner's insurance, but
Yeah.
we've got a couple people. They have their own liability or
Oh,
mechanics.
dude, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
man.
mechanics will ask, "Hey, can we use your garage?" I've got a guy that, what does he do? He repairs postal service vehicles. And Ryan meets everybody, like the most random people. And the guy's like,
All right, now this is. I'm sorry to interrupt you. This is where you don't be the Michelle. I'll help anybody for
"Oh,
free.
no.
You monetize this. Do you
Oh, heck
understand?
yeah.
Craig, repeat after me. I will monetize this.
I will monetize this."
That's my girl. All right, thank you.
No, the guy repairs like postal vehicles and he needs a garage. Like, and I'm like, "Well, you can have it for $1,500 a month.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
you're gonna make money, then
Good for you.
So, but yeah, it's kind of funny that way. So, but yeah, like you said, we got hit like the first weekend we were there, got that mess cleaned up, and then the second weekend that we were there was just a run of the mill thunderstorm. And this like 150-year-old oak tree uprooted out of the back of the yard, came crashing down through the fence, and then literally came like this close to hitting the house, and it broke the light outside. But the yard was just destroyed.
That sucks to lose. Trees are valuable. In
It
a
did,
property.
and
That
they had to cut out like a lot of my flowering trees and stuff on top of that. And then literally, we no sooner got that cleaned up, and then the very next week Dorian happened. So we got hit back to back
shit.
to back. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's the one thing
Any insurance claims or
we did with the first one. It was a lot of damage from the tree and the storm cleanup. With this one, the worst. We still have branches and stuff that we still have to clean up. But we lost part of the fence in the back. It like wilted. That's the only way to say it. Like wilted the whole thing in, and then part of the front of the fence got hit by a tree. But I'm like, you know what? I wanted to get through hurricane season before we make another insurance claim.
Yeah. Well,
Like it's just the fence. So
this is a public service announcement, and this is something that because I'm old, I learned. Insurance is tricky.
oh yeah,
And I've gotten canceled once because I didn't get it. What you have to do, and it's Ernie, my partner, and been with me almost. I mean, AutoMax was 22 years old on the 14th.
oh wow! Congratulations,
4
that's
days
awesome,
ago.
man.
Thank you. And then about a year and a half later, we became an LLC, and that's when Ernie joined me. So Ernie's a minority partner in our general manager, but he turned me on to this independent insurance adjuster. So I had, matter of fact, they're coming tomorrow to replace the roof on my home. A few years ago, I had it was just before Sandy,
Okay.
which was disastrous here, there. I had a leak over my front door, and it was a significant leak. So I called this guy. He said, "Don't call your insurance company. I'll handle it." So he calls my insurance company, meets the insurance adjuster at the house. Long story short, he got an enormous amount of money.
Wow.
I mean, I couldn't do enough repairs to equal the amount of money he got for this claim.
That's crazy.
And then he takes a percentage,
Right.
and you get what's left over, and he pays the deductible and this and that. So I mean, I redid everything, and it's all legal. But if you work with your insurance company, which I did once, they'll just flat out screw you.
Yeah, we're with Allstate, and I mean, like we've got
I'm
we've
too
got our
now.
car, we've got
Right, me
everything,
too.
everything through Allstate, and they were really good. I mean, they had
Yeah.
somebody out there literally, like within 2 days of it happening, and we were able to, thankfully, like within 3 or 4 days, they had the Bobcats and like all these
Right.
people out there, and everything was fixed.
Well, let's hope it never happens again. But get an independent insurance
Man.
adjuster to work for you on your behalf.
That's a good
You're
idea.
out
I
of
never
it.
even honestly thought about that.
Dude, it's unbelievable.
Oh,
It's
I bet.
whole different industry.
I can
It
imagine. Probably
changes
saves you a lot of money.
And you don't do anything. everything's set up for you. I mean, there were big industrial fans in my home and the whole night.
How'd you find this guy? Was he like
it was
on?
a friend of Ernie's. But if you Google independent insurance adjusters, there's a zillion of them. So you just got to feel them out. Make sure you got a real one, somebody that's legit, and they're all make sure you got one with reviews. They're good,
and they like licensed and bonded and all that kind of stuff too.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into that when we go to repair the fence.
Yeah, definitely.
I said, I'm waiting till after, because we're supposed to get a bad winter too, and it'll be just my luck. We'll go and we'll spend the money and we'll get that fixed, and then something else is going to happen. Knock on wood. Right. I'm like, if I'm going to deal with all of this, I would rather be doing it in Denver. So.
All right, let's get back. You're easily sidetracked.
A little bit sometimes.
Although I've kind of done that, so I'm sorry. So let's get back to, all right, so you got an empty building. You got a sign. You're a dealer. What do you do? What do we do? How are you going to look? What kind of person are you going to hire? What are some of the traits? What does that person have to be like, regardless of sex, race? Because obviously we're going to want a diverse. We're going to want the diversity of our team members to match the diversity of our clients. Yes or no?
100%. Right. Yeah.
Right. So. I mean, that's a given.
Sure.
If you don't do that, you're stupid.
No, you're
right. I mean,
100%.
I mean, really, it makes no sense. It's your own prejudice. It's just stupid on your part. The diversity of your client base, whether it be sales or service, whatever, must match the diversity of your client base.
Always. Anybody that's not doing that is losing money.
Like buy from like. You can go through it all.
Yep.
It's just an absolute fact. And if half the population is female, it's a little over half. And if most of the decisions in a male-female relationship are made by the female, and most of the cars titled in the United States of America are titled female, it would only make sense that your dealership, within reason, what you can do, there's not enough female techs in the world, which is absolutely
there's not.
Mind-boggling to me. Ladies, if you're listening to this and you yet to have a career, you've graduated from college, or you're thinking of going to college, screw that. Look into trade school, become an automotive technician, or if you're in the military, you were deployed, you're coming back, a position as a technician in an automobile dealership is an absolute great career choice for you. And I'm here to tell you that I promise you, if you're that lady, that woman, and you don't have a job, I'll get you, AutoMax Recruiting will get you a job, a career in 24 hours. I promise you, I absolutely guarantee, unless you're some criminal, can't pass a drug test, this or that, I promise you employment within 24 hours. Promise you.
Or if you want free hands-on training like Bogey with Girl Gang Garage. I mean, Bogey Latin. I mean, that girl is just amazing. And she brings women all the time, even who have had no experience, to like work on her projects and all of the old cars she restores that end up at the auto.
I'm going to eat while you talk, by the way.
No, go ahead.
Are you really not going to eat this?
I'm really not hungry.
There's blueberries in some of those. Those are pretty good.
It.
And cinnamon in these.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Come on, man.
I'm just...
All right. And water? Are you not going to do anything?
I'm drinking
all right,
water.
I want $5 for all this that I got you. Shit ain't free.
Well, you could hire me and you could get a lot more than $5 back.
Waste not, want not. I know. I knew that was going to come up.
Oh, of course. I mean, hey, always be closing, right?
That's right.
I'd love to do work with you guys. I'm telling you, you guys are an awesome organization, and we can all improve, and there's always room for that.
You're pretty expensive, though. So.
I'm really not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm not that expensive.
But you're
But hey, you know what? At least that's a real objection. You can't overcome something without a real objection.
Would you let me? I'm saying the reason you're so expensive is because you're so awesome.
I am awesome.
But
you're awesome too. So we can meet in the middle, you know, awesome meeting awesome.
We'll see. All right, so what is that called? ADD or what is?
Am I ADD?
Yeah.
I've never been told that.
Because you're like, we have to focus on this dealership.
Okay, so on this dealership, so what kind of people would I hire?
Let's start there.
Honestly, the type of people that I look for, they have to be malleable. You know, I think that's a big thing. I think it doesn't matter really. I came from waitressing. I had a totally different background. I was going to go to school for IT. Who would have thought that an 18-year-old girl with an IT background and waitressing would end up in the car business? I mean, I literally went in to buy a car, got a shitty deal,
Oh yeah,
and got sold a job. So, you know, anybody that tells you that, oh, well, you don't have a sales background, I think that I don't think necessarily that salespeople are, you know, the whole born and not made. I think that some salespeople can be made if you have the gumption and if you have the willpower and you want to put in the time and effort to learn how to do it. I think anybody, as long as you're malleable and you're teachable, I think that you can succeed. So that's something that's really important for me. And anytime that I've ever talked to salespeople or hired salespeople, even if they have a completely off the wall background that maybe not be fitting for sales, if they have a passion and willingness to learn, that's the first thing.
A passion and willingness to learn.
Very much so. You have to have that.
Wouldn't you agree? I mean, sometimes, we make this too complicated.
I agree.
Give me a person that's nice.
Yeah. That's a great start.
Give me a nice person
Yep.
that has friends that people like, that is likable.
Personality in this industry is huge.
Right.
I'm
That
telling you, it's huge.
isn't afraid to work.
Yep.
If you're likable, you're more likely to create a brand, and branding is real important, as we know.
It is.
Social's a real thing. Duh.
Yep.
You know, when I first got on Facebook, I thought it was a dating site.
You would.
Right? Yeah, this was a long time ago, and I was younger and
Craig's
more.
going to be opening the AutoMax Tinder site here soon.
Hey, you know what? I own. Now I'm the one. I'm keeping you off track. So I own a URL called AutoMaxMatch.com.
No, you don't.
I
Are
do
you
too.
serious?
Because it was
How many people have signed up for that?
Now listen to how awesome this idea is. But I have not had the balls to pull the trigger on this.
And I'm the one keeping us off track, right?
Right, exactly. So my idea was to set it up exactly like Match.com.
For automotive people?
Yes, but listen to this. So the person,
That's a disaster
the
waiting to
person looking for a job, male or female, doesn't matter, posts a profile with pictures of themselves, pictures of their family, their hobbies, what they're interested in, their background, a resume, sort of, what they're looking for in a dealer, just like they were looking for a match.
For hiring. I thought you
Right.
meant a dating site
No,
for
no, no, no,
automotive
no.
people to date.
No,
I'm
I'm sorry, my bad. No, it's for hiring. So
That's a cool idea, actually.
Right? And so they come in for free. Like most of these dating sites, women get in for free, a lot of them. Then the dealer pays me, puts pictures of their dealership, their departments, this and that. Why, Red Carpet Subaru is such an awesome place to work, yada, 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 yada. And they can private message each other.
I'm actually working on something similar to that for vendors and dealers.
Really?
And yeah, a vetted full black label platform.
Well, maybe I can have you do this. You can run AutoMaxMatch.com.
I don't want to.
Actually, there's a actual I think there's a whatever you call it. There's a page there that has basically nothing on it, but I thought that'd be
That's a really great idea.
And you want to talk about making money while you sleep? I wouldn't do anything. Just hire somebody to keep the bots out and the scammers out.
That's a really cool idea.
Right?
I mean, I can't tell you. I mean,
how many people are in Tinder
Right?
Match and all the other crappy things?
No, you're right. And there's
So
a lot of people that are always looking to be placed. I just had a girl last week call me, and she's talking. She's at a corporate store. She doesn't like her position. She's tired of all of it. And I get a lot of women and men, for that matter, that'll call me and go, "Hey, can you recommend a store?" And I'm like, "Listen."
It happens to me all the time, and we're not really a talent acquisition company. So a dealer actually retains us first.
Exactly.
And then we instigate the
But that'd be a cool
search.
way you could do that.
Right.
You could literally take those people and those resumes, anybody that's in a pool that's looking, and the dealers could pay for something, and literally
let them do it themselves.
Yeah, that's
just matchmaking.
And I'm sure that Automotive HR could help you facilitate that too.
Yeah, no question.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'd be on board. I'd help you build something like that. That's pretty cool.
I just not Match.com would probably sue me. Because it's
How?
pretty close. AutoMaxMatch.com.
Doesn't matter. It's your domain. The domain's for sale, right? You buy the domain.
I own the domain.
Let's just, well, there you go. I mean, what are they going? How are they going to see?
And there's a page, a landing page there now. So
do it.
it's kind of weird.
I think you should do it. I think that's a really cool idea.
I
Actually,
might do that in my retirement.
It's your retirement. Oh, you're not in retirement now?
No. Yeah. Shh. Company still pays me.
Just so everyone knows, AutoMax does have more than 3 employees.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We'll just put that out there.
There's 35 of us knuckleheads out there. So
That's
men and
crazy.
women. Actually, I love my people. They're my people. I love our team. It's like we start each off one of our conferences, get-togethers with who is AutoMax, and everybody goes, "We are AutoMax," and I say, "Who is AutoMax?" "We are AutoMax," and it's kind of
That's awesome.
it's something.
Culture's everything.
Yeah, it is.
It really is.
All right, would you stay on point, please? Jeez.
I don't stay on point. He's talking about Tinder and Match.com.
We've been there an hour and 1 minute, and we haven't even started yet. So come on. So and it's all your fault too.
Yeah, it's always the woman's fault. I get it. That's okay.
Adam is Adam, not a hookup match site, a job match site.
Adam would be great. You should implement Adam to help you
right.
with that site.
Right, and we could sell them weed too.
You mean he could sell you weed?
I love you, Adam.
Adam's like so
You're
great.
freaking awesome.
He is.
Yeah,
Adam's awesome.
we had dinner. I mean, at Frank's, Adam sat. We had an interesting table. It was a blast, man. It was like
It was.
You know what's so cool? It's like, and I read something somewhere I read something somewhere about strangers, about how bad we are with strangers. We don't go out of our way, or at least I don't, and I don't think most people do, to really pay attention to making new friends, new acquaintances, or strangers.
Unless you're on social media.
Yeah.
And that's how we all connect.
Yeah, but in real life, you're exactly right. Yeah, in social, it's easy because you can hide
Right.
behind that screen and the keyboard. But we sat with, there was Joanna, myself, and Adam. And, and Adam and I know each other. Joanna did not know Adam until then, right? Yeah, right. And then 4 other people they didn't know. And I'm telling you what, this one lady, and God, her husband just connected with me. I forget his name, but he's freaking awesome. What's his name? I gotta give him a shout out because his wife.
It's me that's keeping us sidetracked.
I know it's me. It's my fault. Corey Disson, Dissin.
Oh yeah, he just connected with me too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Awesome guy, big guy,
Yeah.
like huge, strong guy.
Yeah, those are super awesome.
His wife could be a stand-up comic.
Oh, I know.
She was so funny and so off color. It was not a PC table at all. And then a lady that Frank is colleagues with or works with or whatever. I forget.
I can't remember her name
but
either. I'm
you
so
know what I
bad with
mean, though,
names.
right?
I do know who you mean, but yeah.
And her husband, I guess it was. But it was so cool to sit down with strangers other than Adam and Joanna, of course, and to have just, it was so much fun. But I don't think we do enough of that. We just, I don't know.
I don't know. I think a lot of people, our auto fam specifically,
Yeah.
We talk all of the time, about how people buy, generally speaking, doesn't matter if you're automotive or any company, people buy from people that they like and trust.
Yes.
And for some reason, this core group of people, automotive or not, anytime all of us get together, it's one of those things where everybody just kind of likes and trusts everybody for the most part because of personality.
Yeah.
And I think it's just what you said, that whole room the other night was proof positive of that you can put us all together and maybe not, we would never normally engage like on the street, for example, but we did.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Yeah, it was. It's cool.
It really is.
It really is cool.
I love meeting new people. I'm just like Susie Networker, but
Yeah,
everybody
I'm not
knows
like
that.
Naturally, it's weird.
I'm literally like the master automotive connector. Figure out how I can monetize that. That's what I want to do. I've literally connected so many different people in this industry. There are people that have come in that nobody would have known about if it honestly hadn't have been for me bringing them into the industry or me connecting 2 people and 2 totally different vendors that I thought could work together.
Right.
I do that all the time. I make connections with people because I like people.
Yeah.
So I need figure out how to monetize that.
There's
for
a
me.
big scorecard, I guess, taking place. That kicks in at the end of our life. But you got to get paid for some of the stuff you do for free, girl.
I get paid for a lot of the stuff that I do, but at the same time, that's my personality. If I see somebody that's struggling or somebody that I can help and give advice or share my experience, things that I've been through, so that somebody else doesn't have to endure that. I mean, I'm the first person that I'll step up and say, hey, let's have a phone call or text me or call me or I'll give you advice for free. My advice is always going to be free. That's the kind of person I am. Advice, I said.
Okay.
Not my creative and social and follow up. I mean, we all have to make a living here. Let's face it. We all have mortgages and bills to pay.
Who's Amber Lancaster? She a friend of yours?
Amber Lancaster. Hi, how are you?
She said McLain's red carpet motors. See,
I haven't
like
given
that.
a whole lot of thought to the name. All I know is I want a hybrid store. Like I was saying, Ryan is very much into like the Bugattis and the Ferraris and all of that. Like I'm not a big Highline person, me personally. But he spent a lot of time. He's really invested in the cars. He knows how to work on them. That's like his baby.
Yeah.
And me, I'm very passionate about Subaru. He's the person that you give, $3 million. He's going to go out and he's going to buy a LaFerrari. That's what he's going to do. I'm the person that if I have $1 million, I'm going to give $100,000 to 10 people that I think are going to do the best and most with it. That's just me. So we looked at things differently.
Horrible way to do it.
But it works because we balance each other. He's always that way out there in left field dreamer, and I'm the more stable and grounded one. But that's what I want.
Are you guys engaged? Is that a fiance? No? Yes? No?
Okay, so off the record,
we're talking in front of thousands of people. What
well,
are you
there
about?
it is. It's out there. Yes,
Dude,
he
ask
asked
her.
6 months
What's wrong
ago.
with you?
He asked 6 months ago. I didn't put it out there publicly.
Oh,
yeah.
You turned him down?
No.
Oh.
I didn't.
Oh, crap. I didn't know that.
didn't.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
It's been a rough 3 years with everything I
right.
went through with my husband,
Yeah.
and when you lose somebody you love, the way that it happened, it's tough. So Ryan has stuck by me through this journey. I was very emphatic with him. I'm never getting married again. I don't want a long-term relationship. Like I've been widowed. I'm staying in my own lane.
Right.
And he just
that didn't work.
Didn't quit.
Right.
He literally rescued me from the side of the road 5 minutes before my car got smashed by an 18-wheeler in the middle of the night when I first came down. I knew nobody down there. I'd come down to help my mom move.
Oh, I think I remember this story.
Yeah, I came down to help my mom move. I was headed to Charleston for a business meeting the next morning, and between Columbia and Charleston on I-26, I was in a rental. Like, the car literally broke down on the highway at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I had nobody I could call. And he and I had just gone back and forth and text a couple of times, like, through a mutual acquaintance.
Right.
And I'm calling him going, so I'm stranded. I know nobody. It's dark and desolate here, and I
you didn't
need
really
help.
know him.
I didn't. My thought was, oh my God, I'm going to get catfished. I'm going to get murdered. Like, what am I doing? But nobody else would answer the phone. My parents were almost 2 hours away and I was stranded. And just on a hunch, like I think we maybe had talked on the phone one time. And I call this guy at 2 a.m. and he answers half asleep. And I'm like, so here's what's going on. And literally, like, him and his roommate hopped in the car. They were probably 40 minutes out from me. Got there in 15 minutes flat. And I got a call from the highway patrol the very next day that literally 5 minutes after they had picked me up, the car had been leveled by a 18-wheeler. The guy had fallen asleep at the wheel.
No way.
If I had been there, I mean, I wouldn't be here.
Whoa.
So you want to talk about like goosebumps and God-led moments? Like I
man.
never planned on even moving to South Carolina. I was heading back to Ohio. And here this guy comes out of the blue and he expected nothing. I mean, he was just like, hey, let's get to know each other. Let's be friends. And
There really is knights in shining armor still.
he's my guardian angel. I will swear that till the day I die. And the way that God has put the pieces of things together in my life the last 2 years that all led up to that, like it was a disaster, everything that happened. But I look back on it now and I look where I'm at and I'm like, maybe there is a reason for everything in life. You just never know. Like, don't take anything for granted. You just never know. That's the truth.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Crazy story, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah,
It's really crazy.
Yeah.
But
All right, so talking about crazy, So the people that you hire, they're going to be diverse. What are some characteristics that you're looking for in a team member? Someone that is going to relate to you, you relate to them, and more importantly, they're going to relate to your potential clients, customers.
I think that anybody that you bring into an organization, they generally have to be able to get along with everybody. And that doesn't necessarily mean that all personalities are going to mesh well.
Yeah, never going to happen.
You can't ever assume that. But I think somebody that they have enough tact and couth that just because they don't get along with somebody, I've worked with a lot of people who have done very great things for my career as people. Would I ever hang out with them outside of business? Probably not. But some of the most intelligent and great business people are people that I don't like. So I think that it's important that you have somebody that has that personality that they can really relate and they can take what they've learned in the industry, but they can apply it to any personality. I think that's important. And it's just like being in car sales. I mean, the universe made car salespeople. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
And
cool.
they talk about being, you have to be able to have the same conversation with an upscale businessman versus, a redneck, or it doesn't matter who it is or what terminology you use, but you have to be able to have that same playing field levelly with clients and I believe with employees too. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of managers, they lack that ability to do that. They lack the leadership. They might be great on the sales floor. Oh, it's okay. No worries.
Sorry.
No, it's no big deal. But, a lot of times we see managers that they're just not great leaders. And I think a great leader is able to lead and direct a team of people and present a culture of this is how we're going to be. We're going to be personable and we're going to help each other and we all have a team player attitude. I think that when you have everybody on a different agenda at a dealership, it doesn't make for a good culture. Right. So it's important that everybody's kind of on the same page. It's important very much that you have a written process in place. I think not only for your up system and things like that, but how you do paperwork, how you approach the sales desk.
Everything.
And post-sale follow-up. I mean, it's important that you have a written process and that everybody's on the same page. If you don't have your team on that cohesive link, then I think a lot of times it just blows up in your face. So
yeah, I agree.
Personality is key. That's first. But again, somebody that has the capability that they can talk with the rich and they can talk with the poor and they can talk anything to anybody, right. And that's going to relate over in your sales team as well.
Right. I think that kind of rolls into is something called emotional intelligence. Obviously, we have to have people with a certain IQ because the car business is different now.
It is.
Obviously, than it was when I first got into it. When I first got into it, it was like, literally every process we had back then that was a legit process is today illegal. Like almost everything.
Four squares.
So, yeah, worse than that.
Four squares.
Yeah, leasing was fun.
Yeah.
How much you want for your trade? $11 million. No problem. Well, it was no problem because it never showed up on a contract.
Exactly.
So, you're going to give me $11 million? Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, no problem. What's my payment? Well, it's like $340 a month. Okay, no problem. Where do I sign?
Yep.
I was like...
Truth in lending, there was none of that back then. Not a whole lot anyway.
What's that?
The truth in lending, there wasn't a whole lot of that.
No, there was no truth. There was only lending.
It was just lending.
So, forgive me that I have sinned in the car business. I didn't know any better. That's what I was taught. So, but emotional intelligence, which is not, I don't believe you're naturally actually born with that, but I think it can be taught and must be taught and probably self-taught, but you have to be self-aware. You have to know who you are. So consequently, as an employer, you have to feel confident that that person does know who he or she is as a human being. Empathy is huge.
Oh,
they have to have empathy for you, your team leaders, your other management, for their coworkers, their colleagues, and obviously for the client. It's important, managers get bashed so bad, and vendors are the worst at bashing managers. The worst, because we deal with them and we have to go, hey, it's the end of the month. What are you out of your mind? Well, it's the end of our month too. It's
Right?
like, but it's like I get it. So what what happens with managers in the automobile industry is that they're getting picked on. It is one of the worst from one standpoint. This is not, but from one standpoint, if you really look at it, it is one of the most thankless,
Oh, absolutely.
worst jobs in the world. Because when you're a salesperson or you're a tech or you're whatever, you're not a manager and you aspire to be one. It's like, I want to be a manager. That's one of my goals. I want to be a manager. I want to run this. I want to be the department head, this, that, another thing. I want a promotion, right? And then when you get it, it's like, oh, shit.
You're in a fishbowl
okay,
constantly.
so I'm making less money and all this responsibility. I get all the heat and more hours. And like, wow, what was I thinking?
Yep,
Now,
100%.
So you're a manager, and and I don't care who it is. You can take this however you want. I really don't care. But you get, let's just say, 20 salespeople. You're going to have one or two knuckleheads.
Oh, yeah.
You're just going to have a couple knuckleheads. And what happens is, in my opinion, agree or disagree with me, and we go either way, that most of our time as management is spent with the bottom 25% of our sales staff, and the top producers are kind of left to their own devices.
Because you're spending so much time micromanaging
Right.
instead of leading.
Right.
Yeah.
And now from what we're just blessed, man. I mean, our recruiter trainers that we have, most of them, we have 70% retention. 70% of the people, of the 35 people that work with AutoMax, been with me 10 years or more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, it is.
It means you're doing something right.
Yeah, we overpay. So, no.
Well, that always works.
Right. So, no, they're all family, so I can't fire them. No, that's a joke, kind of. My point is just that we should spend, and I try to spend, a guy like, and Anthony gets talked about a lot, but Anthony has really made himself into a superstar is not the right to put it, but a real pro.
Anthony's awesome.
So in the old days, I would have totally ignored him or a guy like him because I had this, I would have to be messing with the bottom so much, until it finally clicked with me. It's like, wait a minute. Why am I ignoring the people that are really bringing in the revenues, the people that are really doing a top job? Where, it goes back to, did you hire him dead or just kill him after I got him? Did I make a poor decision on this hire in the first place, and should I cut my losses now? Right? Or am I killing this person? And do I have to look at myself in the mirror and say, okay, how can I help develop this person? Then if I can't, if he or she is not able or willing, then I got to move on.
And that's key. You have to be able and willing. And I believe there's some people that
the only way to look at it, Michelle, to keep somebody or not. It's are they able and or willing? If they are not, they got to go. Then you've made a mistake.
Well, philosophy I've always had, from the time that I started in the car business. I mean, I was doing off of the wall things even as early as 18 years old. I was out in the community. I was prospecting local businesses. I was, I would have little postcards made up that said something like, pamper yourself on me, buy any car for Michelle at Jeff Weiler. It's where I was at.
Were you in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
They've been a client. A couple of those stores have been clients for us.
Yeah,
forever.
I got my first store at Fairfield, Kia, Cadillac, and Nissan.
Oh, no kidding.
But I would go in and I would go to a salon and I would say, hey, you know what? If you send me a client from your salon, I'll buy a $100 gift card.
You started selling at 18?
I was 18. Yeah, literally just after my 18th birthday. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would do reciprocity marketing and get out in the community. And I always had this vision that every day that I walked into that dealership and every dealership that I worked for after that, my name was on that building. I never treated it. And I think that's where a lot of people miss the mark in the car business and fail out and leave. because they look at it as, oh, I'm working for an employer. This is a job. This is just an employee relationship. They write my paycheck, and that's where my subordinates lies.
Yes.
But if you shift and you look at that every day and you walk in and go, my name is on the building, it shifts your thinking and your perspective to go, okay, the dealership is basically just giving me a desk and a bunch of free tools and training, hopefully, to manage my own business. And if you look at it like your own business, the people that do that, I'm proof of that. Like the success that comes along with it is exponential in comparison to the person that comes in and goes, oh, this is a job that I clock in and clock out.
Right. Now, what you said is absolutely true. Cannot be debated.
Yeah, it's true.
However, because it is your own business, and we can go through all that. They supply the inventory, the advertising,
Right.
the marketing, blah 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 blah, the paperwork and everything. You have support staff all over the place. However, how do we identify that man or woman up front that he or she is going to be able to excel in that type of environment? Because they have to have an entrepreneurial mindset. Am I saying that right? Would you agree with that?
I would agree. And
So how do you tell that, would you say, in your opinion?
When I used to interview people, I would ask them about their specific goals. I never did like conventional interviews with like the form-fitted questions and things like that. It was about let's have a conversation. Like literally, let's have a conversation. I want to find out what's important to you. Mm-hmm. I want to find out, what kind of a family life you have. I want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly up front. Because if I know that, I'm able to tailor the way I train that person, the way I lead that person. And a lot of leadership, I think, starts with leading by example, of you setting the culture and you setting the example and you setting what's expected and what's not going to be tolerated. And when you do that, you kind of level the playing field for all of your employees. But I think it's important that prospective employee or somebody that's been with you for the long term, that you're actively involved enough with that person on a personal level that hey, if you can see that person, maybe they're having a bad day, you can pick up on that and you can go, okay, we need to work on this.
Yeah. Well, that's where a lot of us fall down. You can Google this. There's a specific survey that you can find online. Google something along these lines. What managers think is most important employees and what employees actually see as most important, or words to that effect. Google anything close to that. Google's so freaking smart, they'll figure it out. Right. So there's a list where what managers think is important to their employees, and then right below that is what is really important to them.
Right.
In managers, in this survey, and there's been a bazillion surveys that are similar to this ever since. This one's 60 years old, but there's been a bazillion after that it's all the same thing, just worded a little bit different, but the results are always the same. Managers always put what first? Money.
Oh, yeah. Money.
Right? It's like,
Hands down.
motivate them through money, motivate them through money, motivate them through money. What is first, and it can be worded differently, is what the employee wants the team member wants is a feeling of being in on things. Yeah. Is the way it was worded.
Empowered.
Right. Empowered would be, today's a more woke. Way to put it.
I can't even with you saying the word woke.
Right? Especially with me, right? Whatever. But that's so true. And, because our company it's small enough with 35 people where it's, we can connect with people pretty easily, even though we're all over the country. We push them to be involved in things, in the decision making. I mean, like literally, like it's almost too much. Like, come on, we almost make them be sometimes more involved than they want to be, but they have that voice. And I think that's so important. And then, the way the employees look at it then is appreciation for work done. And it's in the top 5, and you just said it. I forget the exact wording, but be attuned or aware of personal issues. And in today's woke society, that's kind of like taboo. Like, none of your business. You got to sign 95 waivers. I was just messing with you. I asked you if I could put my arm around you outside when we took the picture. It's like I touch any woman right now. I ask them first. Did that come out
I
right?
think male or female, I tell people all the time, like, anybody that's coming into this industry, leave your diva at the door. Like, just leave it at the door.
You
leave
have
your dirty
to.
laundry in the car. Leave it off social. But, the kind of dealership that I honestly see myself owning is an employee-owned dealership. I want to give back.
Yeah, man.
I want my employees to have a vested interest in everything that they do, whether that's a 1% or a 3%, or, we can look at that down the line. But
Right.
I think when you empower your employees to make decisions in the everyday of what's going on, even things from like advertising and marketing, having a roundtable, with your employees, not just to come to Jesus meeting on a Saturday and going, hey, what do you think? You're out in the community. What do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? Or how can we better tailor this to the customer? I think that just actively having employees involved, that really breaks down the barriers, because then when people are really genuinely going through crap in their lives, you've established that rapport and that trust, the same rapport and trust that you expect to be extended to your clients. If you as a manager extend that to your employees and you break those barriers down to where an employee can legitimately not be afraid, they can come up to you and they can say, hey, I'm going through this and I just want to be forthcoming, let you know what's going on.
Right.
Then you can nip it in the bud. But if this stuff just festers and then you already have all of the angst and the hours and, you never see your family half the time when you're in the car business, there's never any downtime. I think that's really what starts to build up people to walk away, because the culture sucks. They don't feel like they have that transparency. They feel like, what, maybe I just went through the worst thing in my life, but if I show up 5 minutes late to a Saturday meeting, the door's going to be slammed in my face.
Yeah.
And there's no excuses. I mean, that's the culture I came from.
Me too, pal.
I mean,
Like,
it
for-
was.
like literally locked.
Oh, no.
Locked the door.
Same here.
Last
the
one
door
in, locked
was
the door.
Yep, the door was locked. If you
Right.
showed up at 8:31, you were written up and you
Yeah,
were probably sent home for the day.
What can I do for you? Well, I'm coming to the meeting. No, you're not. I'll talk to you after the meeting, pal.
Yep,
Go have a seat in the corner.
But we don't. I think a lot of times people just don't
Yeah.
think of people as
Well,
humans. So we all go through
Yeah,
stuff.
but see, I don't know. Maybe some people are born to have a better understanding of other people, or more empathetic
Oh, I'm a
just
total
by
empath.
nature. But a lot of it is learned. Like when millionaire producer Adam came in here before we started the podcast. Do you remember I said something to him?
Yeah.
Is there something? Are you okay? Or and he smoked too much weed over the weekend. So I'm only kidding. It's only kidding. I bust his chops. He doesn't smoke weed. No, he's shaking his head. No, I just always pick on him. All systems go AV. Hey, listen, if you want to do this, is a sidebar, and I don't get paid for this, which sucks. But if although I will, I'm going to add him up for money. But all systems go AV in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Beautiful Bensalem, Pennsylvania, and there's a really awesome casino. What's that called? Parks? Is that right, Adam? Yeah. Parks Casino, PARX, is near here, and a lot of top name stand-up comics go there. I think Bert Kreischer's going to be here, or Segura. One of them are going to be here soon. But at any rate, I said, something bother you? Something wrong? Yeah, the baby over the weekend, kept us up, didn't sleep, I haven't had any sleep, and so forth. But that's something 10 years ago I wouldn't even have given a shit about. I wouldn't have, so it's something, well, maybe 20 years ago. But my point is.
But look what's happened in your own personal life, too.
Right,
I think
exactly.
when we go through certain trials and tribulations in our life,
I agree.
it naturally makes us
Right.
understand and
Right.
become a little bit more empathetic and can see that.
Yeah, but there's no
earlier
excuse
on.
for not
No,
being
there's not.
Because there's enough information out there. We got to understand how important that is to our team. That's being a leader.
First rule of leadership, don't be a dick. I
yeah,
mean,
right. Don't be a dick.
That's it.
Right. Hashtag don't be a dick.
Yep. That's
So,
it.
see, here's the problem. In our industry, it's like the only reason I got promoted because I outsold everybody. Mm-hmm. And there's
why most people do.
Right. There's very few that doesn't happen to. My first general manager's position, it was so crazy. I was, at the time, the dealership was weird. The second in command we didn't really have a GSM. There were 2 new car managers and a used car manager and a bunch of F&I people, truck manager, lease manager. It was a big, huge dealership, Chevrolet store, single point Chevy store. But it was huge. I was 20 acres. It was big. And the second, this is going to sound weird, the second most important job in the dealership was used car manager, because we sold a crap load of used, made a crap load of money. And so it was like a big deal. So I was promoted to the used car manager from the new car manager, one of the 2 new car managers, desk managers. Then we're at the Christmas party one year, and the dealer announces, unbeknownst to everybody, that his 28-year-old daughter, who's my age, she was the title clerk, was going to be the new dealer Monday morning.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sitting with my wife, 2 sales managers, one of which still works for me today. Jerry Conover's been with me 19 years. It's unbelievable. So the general manager and his wife got up, said, I quit, that's it, shook my hand. Craig, good luck. Congratulations. You're probably going to be the new GM, walks out. So Monday morning shows up, and I'm 20. I just turned 29, I think. And they come in and, sat me down, and you're going to be the new general manager. I didn't have a freaking clue.
Didn't really either my first time.
There was no way I was qualified for this job. 0 way. All I knew was how he ran it, and he ran it like Attila the Hun.
Crack the whip, Craig, right?
Dude, it was the old story. I've told this story a lot recently. I was down in Tampa speaking here a couple of weeks ago at a fair at David Villa's about culture. Culture matters. It was awesome. You get a chance to go or speak next year. I'll put your name in with David if I have any pull with him.
Awesome, thanks.
It was terrific. There was only I think he held it to 44. They were all dealer principals and or GMs. I mean, literally, they were all executive management. But I told the story, and I role played with one of the guys in the office. And I said, this is how I used to be. This is the way I was brought up into the business in terms of quote unquote leadership, right? So I'd sit down with a salesman and say, "Hey, dude, so let me ask you something. How much money do you use? How much money do you spend on gasoline to get from your house to work every day?" Oh, about $3. So you're talking about what, $15, $20 a week? Yeah. Why? Well, I found a way to save you $80 a month. Get the F out of here. Go to the parts department, get a box, and get the F out of here. I mean, that's real. That's not a make. That's like what I literally came out of my mouth to another human being.
I don't doubt it.
Shame on me. However, to give myself just a little bit of what would you call it? Whatever. The excuse is that's all I had ever seen. So I didn't really know any better. It's like I just thought you had to be a hard ass and an asshole to be a GM or any management. And that's not the case. Luckily, the dealer had enough foresight. Back then, there was something called integrity selling by Chevrolet, by General Motors put it out. And it was different. And it started me on a little different path that I gradually, finally understood. And then 22 years ago when I started AutoMax, it was like, okay, look, I got a blank piece of paper here, man. Like we do here with Red Carpet Subaru or McLain Red Carpet Motors.
It's going to be Red Carpet something. That's for sure.
I like that name.
I really do. I want to roll, whether it's virtual or physical, I want to roll a red carpet out for clients. And I think that more dealers need to do that. I mean, literally speaking, you know, we're not in business unless it's because of clients.
Yeah. Here, look, the thing about the car business, in my opinion, I think we're kidding ourselves if we think we're going to make the buying experience fun. It's not fun.
No, it's not.
And I'm not sure it's ever supposed to be fun, but it sure as shit should be easier. It should be quicker and easier. Now, in saying that, however, our employees, our team members, should enjoy, if you want to match that up with fun, being there,
100%.
40, 45 hours a week, not 60, unless they want to be.
Or build the Google environment for your employees.
Yeah, within reason.
Within reason.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look. not now, but in my prime, if you'd given me a 40-hour-a-week schedule, I would not have worked 40 hours. I would have worked 50, 55 hours.
Oh, yeah. I always
Okay, because it's just, I don't know, being more competitive or whatever the case might be. In retail, I don't care what kind of retail, typically, the more you're there, the more you're going to make. That's not necessarily, that's not an absolute, because you take a guy like, Ali Rita, who, sold 8 trillion cars last year, sells 100 a month or more.
We need the Ollie Rita training program in every dealership in the country.
Right.
I'm
the
a
guy
firm
works.
believer of that.
I mean, it's like Detroit's a union, so they can only work 5 days.
Right.
So he's only at
That's like
the
unheard of in the car
store
business.
X amount of hours, but his job's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because he's literally in the community. He's actually, he's not. It's really easy, and it took me a long time to understand that being involved is not just cutting a check. It is super easy to cut a check. Yeah, mostly super easy to cut a check, depending on the size of the check. But it's easier to write a check.
Right.
But to actually go do something, that's a whole different deal. With my church, it was like, I contribute X amount of dollar to my church, right? And that was easy. But the big hurdle was to get involved. So I'm working in a parking lot at my church, and it was like, Craig, you're a big shot. These people at the church know who you are, and you're working in a parking. Because it was like, I'm so sick mentally. It's like, what kind of executive roles are there here at the church that I can handle?
Oh,
You can work in the parking lot. It's like, because they knew me, and it was like. But I need that.
Humility is huge.
I needed that, and I loved it. They gave me a flashlight, a long one, and a vest, and I was the first guy. I was at the end of the driveway, and so I'm having fun with it, like an airline, like the guys that land the planes. You know what I mean?
So see that.
Oh, dude, it was so. I have pictures of it somewhere. It was so awesome, and people would wave, and I'd wave, and I made it fun, but it was, then I'm actually serving.
Right.
And it was like, I still wrote a check, but it was more important because that filled a role. Those are the kind of people I'd want at my store. Wouldn't you?
I want people that want to get out into the community and love on other people. I want people that believe in building relationships before they sell something.
Right.
It's not about moving metal or selling a tangible product.
Right.
To me, it's literally how many people's lives did I change through what I did today?
Right.
That's it.
And not just the salespeople, Michelle.
Everybody.
What's even more important is a tech.
Yeah.
A tech to be able to say, instead of, hey, you know what, bring the car back, bring it by my house on a Sunday, I'll take care of it.
Right?
Right? Hey, bring it into the dealership. Let me see if I can get you a discount. Our dealership's awesome.
Yeah, why not? I mean, if you're insured and it's okay, why not
Service
let our
advisors.
techs do their own work out of dealers? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things that I've not agreed with and that I've seen. And that's one of them.
Right.
The secretive, like, oh, hey, here, I'll do it cheaper for you on the side. Why not bring the dealership to the business and then you can kind of run your own stuff too out of there? I mean, as long as you're being responsible.
I heard something at this Culture Matters that Villa had that they put on there at IDP in Tampa, and shout out to those people. And I'm not sure if they said it or if one of the speakers said it, but I saw one of the attendees that was there actually do it. Our showrooms, most dealerships have conference rooms, meetings rooms, right?
Right.
What an opportunity to reach out to your community and have whatever held there. They're all these, I don't know. Give me, you know what I'm talking about?
I literally organize for dealers. I have a reciprocity program that I do. I sell, it's a package. It's literally a community spotlight event where we will go and we market, we get on the ground and we go out to local businesses and we talk directly with local business owners. And the dealership holds a community appreciation dinner and invites other local business owners, and then they can put
There you
deals
go.
together.
Yeah.
And I have invitations that, that say the spotlight on your business, and we make it about the other businesses in the community, not the dealership. But now you get all these business owners coming
Right.
together. They get a free dinner, and they get to see and hear about different things that are going on at the dealership.
Right.
Get special deals, for their employees and for people that come in and do business with them.
Could be anything.
It creates that full circle
That's right.
reciprocity.
Yeah, I agree 100%. You get a meeting room. So how about the local scout troop?
Yeah.
Have them in. They need a plate. You don't charge them a dime. It's free.
Sponsor a sports team.
It's empty a room.
Yeah.
I'd keep that room loaded all the time. Showroom after hours, whatever. Bring them in. Let people use it.
Yeah.
Firemen, whatever. I think it's just think of you cannot pay enough in terms of marketing dollars to create that kind of buzz and love in your community. Then they're going to look at the dealers write big ass checks.
I know.
Car dealers are so giving. I mean, just they're big deals in their community. But so much of it is done on an anonymous basis, which is fine. The Bible said, "Don't let the left hand know what the right hand's doing." I agree with that 100%. It's like, I'm all about that. I don't need people to know that I do this or do that.
But that's totally different than getting out there and actually supporting your community.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, and it's so important. And that spreads like wildfire.
It does.
It's like, so where's your troop holding your meeting? Oh, we're doing it down at McLain's Red Carpet Motors. No kidding. She does that? Oh yeah, man. She lets all kinds of the Rotary meeting, a women's knitting circle, whatever is held at McLain's Motors, man.
That's it.
There's no way to spend enough money to get that kind of
word of mouth is so much more effective. And when people when people feel like you truly care, that's so much. It's going to go so much further than writing a check. I mean, I could write a check to any charity organization, but they're not going to know who I am.
Right.
When I go and I walk in and I serve that charity organization, it's a totally different feeling.
Right. That's better put.
It very much is.
Yeah. For people that didn't understand my rant, what you just said is absolutely that's the right way to put it for sure. I mean, that's just so important. So
it's all about giving back.
Yeah. In terms of, and I mean, you've held pretty much every position in a dealership with exception. You've not been a GM.
I've been
right?
a GSM. Yeah.
Yeah. GSM.
Yep.
Internet.
Internet, BDC, sales, F&I, sales manager, new car manager, used car manager. Internet director. I've pretty much held. I mean, and our GSM role was basically the GM.
Did you have a man? Did a man give you all these promotions?
Actually, yeah. Going back now, I don't think I've ever worked. I worked for one female GM in Chicago. And ironically enough, she fired me for getting sick. I had strep throat. And
women.
Yeah, no, I love her. It's too fun. I'm so glad that she did.
Why?
She literally, she's been one of my dearest friends and mentors. But I don't know, she kind of woke me up to the world of hey, you need to be more responsible. I legitimately, I probably deserved to get fired. I had strep throat. And I was out of work for 3 days, and it just so happened that my late husband's birthday was that night. Or no, it was my birthday. It was my birthday that night, and he kept insisting that I go out, and I was sick, and I didn't want to go out.
Oh no!
So he insists that we go. Yeah, he insists that we go out to dinner, and he orders some kind of a drink. I don't remember what it was. He ordered something. He put it in front of me, and I'm sitting there, not even drinking because I can't swallow, and I've got strep throat. But it's my birthday.
This is bad.
And lo and behold, who walks into the restaurant that I'm at? But the general
out.
Manager and her family,
Get
and she
out.
fired me on the spot. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Oh, I threw a shit fit. But you know what? Down the road now, a lot of the great ideas and things that I've implemented into my business and marketing, she's responsible for. Yeah. And she taught me a lot. And, honestly, that dealership ended up closing down, and the owner of the dealership was just an awful human being, to be perfectly honest. But, you know, and in hindsight, it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me because it launched me into a totally different phase in my career.
It's weird how that happens, isn't it?
It is, you know. I'm never gonna ever say enough that everything happens for a reason. No matter what place you're in life right now, no matter what you're going through, there's always a brighter day. Doesn't matter.
This has almost nothing to do with anything.
Shocking.
For some reason, it just jumped in my mind. I had left a dealership, and I sold used cars at a dealership down the street for, this is in Canton, Ohio, and it's closed now. But I was drinking back then. It's been 26 years, so I don't, that I've drank, that I have not had to drink. But then I was drinking. So I came in one morning, and this old guy comes up to me, and he's asked for a salesman. It's like, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning. Asked for a salesman. I said, he's not here. All right, what's up?
He's not here. That's great. He's not here.
Right. What's up? He said, I want to drive that old whatever. It was an Oldsmobile. Actually, it was this big, 40-foot long Oldsmobile. I said, all right, dude, here's the keys. Here's a tag. I didn't even go out to the car. Go put a tag on it. This is a customer, right?
Seaway, cover your ass.
Right. So
always. I know where this is going.
Right. So he leaves. It's like 10 in the morning. About an hour later, I kind of forgot about it because it wasn't he asked for some guy. And so the used car manager comes to me and says, we're going to Bender's, which is a very fancy, a restaurant that's been in Canton for like 200 years, like legitimately. It's like the place to go, right? We're going to lunch. We'd like to take you to lunch. Okay, it's cool. We sit down. I'm sitting down with the GM and all the big shot, all the executive, and I'm a really good salesman, but I'm just a salesman at the store. And I'm 20-something, early 20s. They said, you ever had a martini? I said, no, what's a martini? I said, oh, you'll like it. So, in 1 hour, hour and a half, I have 6 martinis.
Oh my gosh. I couldn't even stand up.
They take me back to the dealership. Big mistake.
Oh my God.
So I go to my office, I pass out. I'm asleep. And it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the porter comes to me and says, Mr. Locker, wake up. And he's shaking me, right? And now I'm drunk, hungover, pissed that he woke me up. I said,
right.
What? Well, that guy that you gave that car to, there's a problem, horrible problem. I said, oh, what's up? So I walk out, tow truck pulls in with our car hooked to the back of it. Tow truck pulls in with another car hooked to the back of it. And this guy that I flipped the keys to and the tag to at 10 o'clock in the morning, he's there. He's blind drunk.
Oh, my gosh.
Guy's this big, right? He's like your size, right? And I said,
I'm not that short. I'm 5'7".
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he might have been, he's probably smaller. But anyhow, so I'm drunk, he's drunk.
Perfect.
Right? I'd just been woken up, so I'm pissed. And he wrecked all these cars, so now I'm really pissed. So I start saying all this really nasty shit to him, right? He takes a swing at me. Now he's drunk, and he missed me by this much. So I take a swing at him, and I clipped him on the top of the head, knocked him down. And that really pissed him off. And then we get into this, and now patrol cars are coming in. And I can see the owner. Now, the used car department's located directly across the street from the new car building. I can see the owner of the dealership running back in front of the window. Because, there's police cars there, tow trucks, and one of his employees swinging on one of his customers out in the middle of the lot. It was a scene.
Oh, I bet.
So there's, now there's people around, taking money if I can knock them out. That's a lie, but adds to the story. So the owner comes running across the street and starts screaming at me, you're going to pay for all this? I said, F you. That's what you got insurance for. And I it's like thing that most people have always wanted to do to somebody in the car business. I take my demo keys and I nail them right in the chest with it.
I did that.
Like, oh, did you really?
I did.
Oh, God, you're the only other person I've ever known to do that.
I did when I left my last store to start my company.
Such an awesome feeling. It's such a stupid thing to do.
Oh, they kept trying to throw money at me to stay. Like, I literally tried to turn my demo in like a week before, right? I had made the decision to quit. I was like, listen, I can do this for every dealership in the country. Everything that I'm doing that you want me to do for all your customers to help you get your $2 million in stair step money, and you're not going to give me any of that, kiss my ass. I was at that point. I was so pissed off because I was taking myself off of the floor to put myself in this management position for them to get their stair step and their CSI back where it was. Doing what I did for my own customers for the whole store. CSI, KPI, all of it. Yeah. And I managed to get them up 2.5 points, and they wanted to pay me $25 for every perfect survey.
Thank you very much.
And I said, what? I just got you $2.5 million. No, we're going to talk. And they made a scene. They made a scene in the middle of the floor. Me and the general manager, I mean, literally screaming match. And I said, that's it. I quit. Or no, it wasn't the general manager. It was the general sales manager. I said, I'm done. And so the GM and the GSM pull me in the big corporate office where they're at. And I said, here's my keys. And I tried to nicely hand them to them. And that didn't happen. And they're like, just go home and think about what you're doing for the weekend. And I just walked. I came back in. I was done. I'm like, you're not gonna belittle me like this. I'm not gonna be Like, I'm the only reason that you're. And then they didn't want to pay me the money, and I said no. That's it. I did. I flung the keys. I was like, take your demo. I'm done. I'll see you in 3 years. I can do this by myself and make a lot more.
Pretty awesome feeling. It's good. It's better done sober.
I was sober. I will say that I was sober.
I was such an asshole. Then to take it one step further, and I'll be done with this story because it really has nothing other than a culture change. But then I got hired by the competitor, and I sold 57 cars that month and made a boatload of money. I sent him a copy. I was such an asshole. It was all my fault. I was drunk.
Right.
Well, it's a little bit the manager's fault for getting me drunk and then bringing me back to the dealership. But those were a different days. But I'm such an asshole. I send the owner of the dealership my pay records and show, here's what you lost by firing me. It was like, really, dude? Like, I think we'll be okay without your weak ass here. So, but it just culture is, culture is so. We use that term
very broadly
a lot.
Yes.
And it's a fact that you got a culture one way or another. It's either one that your employees have developed on their own, which typically is not good.
No.
Because there is two ways to do it. I mean, you could if you hire nice people, good people have a quality heart and outlook about life, and they're enthusiastic, passionate, no bad habits, blah, 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 blah. Okay, you're going to have a culture, but it might not align exactly with the culture that you want. So it's important as a leader to create a culture and then hire within that culture as best you can. And then to take that and to develop it, to build from it, and to really crush it. And expand, because that's where true expansion comes from.
It does.
It's not when like, I got enough money I can buy another store. It's like, no, I got enough people where now I've got a whole management crew I can put in there. Because even though this is a big part of our business, it's like a dealer calls us and we're expanding or whatever. Can you get us a GS? Can you get us a management? Don't you have anybody in house that you can move over to that new store? It still boggles my mind. It's like,
my question would always be why.
Right.
Like, what are you not doing right?
I know. Because, Michelle, and things have changed, but when I first got into the business, I actually, day one, I didn't get any training. It was pretty much there's the cars, jumper cables, and the keys. Go get them,
yep,
pal.
That's how mine was.
You're a car salesman. But there was training as it went along. And by training, I mean that I got to know and do everything. Now it's called cradle to grave.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't know, it wasn't called anything. It was called that's the car business.
Right.
But I knew I was allowed on the inside, and I was allowed to see how an appraisal happens and how the figures come up, and you do have to figure day supply and what's it going to cost to recondition in this car, and how are we going to price it, and I mean, this is 40 years ago plus. So I was trained to become a manager as a salesperson, and we all were. And that doesn't seem, and I'm sure there's outliers and there's probably a lot, but it's not the majority. And I really, in my opinion, I think it should be. If you and I are partners in this thing, because you might need a little money, so you bring on a partner, and then we go to the bank and we get some more money.
When are we going to become partners, by the way? I totally agree with you.
So if I was part of this deal of your store, I would want to make sure that, I don't care who it is, if we hire a porter, that porter's going to know that service department and the sales department. He or she's going to understand the synergy that it takes in, like, I'm just not washing a car. I'm providing an experience for the salesperson's customer.
They need to know why they're important in the process.
Right, exactly right. Or they're just a temporary stop off, and we're going to flip that job 3 or 4 times during the course of the year. That porter.
Well,
that
I'm a firm
cleanup
believer
guy.
too of cross training departments.
Oh
Now,
yeah.
do I believe that every salesperson has the ability to be trained as a manager and should be able to pencil a deal?
Yeah,
Not
man.
necessarily, but. And we're talking things like from sales and BDC. Why in the heck, as a dealership, are you not having your BDC cycle out onto the sales floor or take overflow ups? Why are your salespeople not mandatorily spending days in the BDC and learning how that system operates?
Yes.
Why are we still, in this day and age, everything operates separately? You've got your fixed ops, you've got your parts department, you've got your service department, you've got the sales desk. Everybody operates like they're all in competition with each other instead of being one cohesive dealership. I think that it's important that salespeople be out and they sit out and they get trained to be a service advisor. Learn how the process, because when you have an appreciation for what the other person's role is in the dealership and how what they do affects the customer, just like what you do affects the customer, it all affects the bottom line. And I think that it's very, very important. I think that a GM or GSM, BDC, and internet sales managers, they should have shared responsibilities because they're both responsible. And I just think that there's a lot of a lack of that. And I think that if we were to train in other departments and make sure that everybody had a chance to do everyone else's job, they would have a much greater appreciation. And at the end of the day, everybody would come better together and be able to run a much more effective dealership.
Come together.
I totally believe that.
I think we're seeing it, and I think it's going to be. Everything's moving so fast now in the car business. Everything's
much.
accelerated. That BDC director now, in my opinion, should be on the same level, for lack of a better word, as the GSM.
Amen.
I mean, where do all the leads come through?
Right?
I mean, they're all coming into. If you don't have a BDC, I don't know what in the world you're thinking or doing. You have to have somebody where all these leads are channeled through. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Regardless of the size of your store,
Correct.
right? Independent, it doesn't matter. Those leads have to be. They just can't come into the sale.
Well, even
sales
before
call on
BDCs,
line one or what?
we would have to literally, and I will forever credit, I think you guys work with the store, Performance Toyota.
Yeah.
I worked for Performance. I had great managers there. They're wonderful people. But we literally, if we wanted to get a used car a phone up,
Yeah.
we had to go out and walk the lot every single day. We had to be able to take a quiz and know everything about every single one of those used cars, or we weren't even allowed to get a phone up for a used car.
That's not a horrible idea.
No, I mean, why are you not walking your inventory and getting to know your cars? There's
Right.
nothing worse than when a client calls up and says, hey, I'm interested in this 2011 BMW. Can you tell me a little bit about it? Can you hold, please? Let me walk out to the car. Why
Right.
do you not know your inventory?
Right.
Little things like that make, to me, a totally different culture for a dealership.
I'm twice as old as you, but do you remember as a kid, did they have the game called Concentration? Where,
Oh, yeah.
Right? You have the cards and
Yep.
you flip them and you try to remember where
Yep.
they're at, right?
Yep.
That's the way a professional automobile salesperson should know their inventory.
I used to handwrite a list. I would write the features and the miles and the options, and I would write it because it would get into my memory.
Yeah, well, here, and that's absolutely.
People learn differently,
You're
but
writing it. Well, you're writing it down. The more senses that you use in your education, the better. So I was taught this, so I taught it that in the morning. Excuse me. Ooh, that'd have been a good one. Right into the microphone. Darn, I missed a perfect opportunity. That was an awesome belch. And I said, So like I'm on a roll. Walk in the morning and touch as many cars as you can in 10 minutes. You literally put your hand on the car, so you're involving touch. Say out loud, so you're hearing it, another sense. The year, make, and model, color of the car, and how many miles on it, and which slot it's at, what row, and which slot in from the right. And I'm going to tell you, you want to learn a 500 car inventory? You think it's impossible? It is not at 10 minutes a day if you do that. So for those of you listening to this podcast and you sell cars, just do that. Get there 10 minutes early, physically walk the lot, touch the car, put your hand on the car. Just trust me on this. I don't care how weird it sounds. And screw anybody that says, what are you doing, dumbass? Say, screw off. Go do whatever goofy shit. Go talk about the game from last night. I'm a pro. Touch the car and say the year, make, and model, number of miles, color, and where it's at, what row, and how many it is, or how many cars it is in from the right. I'm guaranteeing you within, I don't know, a couple weeks, you're going to know that inventory. Because you, like you said, for phone calls or for when someone is on the lot and they're walking the lot, which I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I like walking the lot walking with customers because then you end up following
No,
them.
then there's too many options. I think that you need to be able to qualify that customer well enough that you pull out 2, 3, maybe tops
I think so
vehicles.
too. Yeah.
When they have too many options.
There's a real split on that,
Yeah. Personally speaking, I don't necessarily have a lot walk problem. What I have a problem with is the customer that comes in and wants to drive everything on the lot, and you haven't qualified that customer to drive half of those vehicles.
Right.
And they just start going, I want to drive that one. I want to drive that one.
Right.
Okay, no, this is not an amusement park. You don't ride for free with one price. It doesn't work that way. If you're a good sales consultant, you have well qualified that customer. You know what they're driving now. You know what they're paying. You know how they bought their last car. You know how much money they put down. You're doing your job of qualifying that customer so that you can, if you're going to do that lot walk, you know where to lead that customer, that these are the 1 or 2 cars that are going to be right for what you're looking for. And then you affirm with that customer, is this the right type of vehicle? And then we pull it out, do a world-class walk around of the vehicle, and then we drive. It's not musical cars. And anybody that's playing musical cars, please, dear God, stop it right now because you're losing clients.
Yeah, I agree with what you say. There are different schools of thought on that. There's a lot of people say don't qualify your customer, and
that's how you build a relationship. I don't even call it qualifying. I call it relationship building.
Needs assessment or whatever.
I find out what the customer, I try to even get them off of the car. For the first 10, 15 minutes that I would even up a customer, I would be talking about the ball cap, or I would be talking about their kids' hockey team, or I would be talking about a bumper sticker that was on their vehicle.
Right. That's old school,
and breaking the ice. But I started old school. I started in 99.
Yeah, well, my point is that there's not... I have a real problem with that. People that talk badly about quote unquote old school, because you know what?
There's no old school or new school. There's just school.
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Good point. Say that again.
There's no old school or new school. There's just school. And actually, Jim Ziegler said that.
Right. Isn't that the fact?
It's truth.
That is true. That is true.
It really is.
Although
we always be
Ziegler
learning.
doesn't like needs assessments and qualifying customers.
He doesn't like name tags either.
Yeah. But and I get, it's proven like a million times, not a million, that's too many, but however many cars are sold a day, 500,000 cars, new and used or whatever, but whatever the number is, doesn't matter. There's a whole mess of cars and trucks being sold every single day, and it's rare that a customer comes in at, I want to be at $350 a month, and they're looking at a car that we both know isn't going to be $350 a month, but they walk out of there at $580.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it happens every day. Not on every deal, but every day. So if someone falls in
deals.
love with a car or vehicle, they're going to do what they need to do financially to buy the car, right?
Correct.
So, maybe. So I don't know. I don't know what the hell I do with that.
I guess
frankly,
I guess it just depends on the customer.
you
Because
sure you don't want one of these?
No, I'm good.
How
Thank you.
rude,
I'm
son.
sorry. I'm so rude.
dare
I'm
you.
really trying to stay away from carbs.
Okay. Oh, these aren't carbs.
Yeah, those aren't carbs. Sure.
There's blueberries. In them.
They're blueberry carbs. That makes it better.
They do smell so.
No,
good.
but I think it depends on the customer. Some of those customers, like, you legitimately can do that with. You can just work on breaking the ice, and you can find out everything. The customer really will tell you everything that you need to sell them a car if you just shut up long enough. Too many times I see people, especially sales consultants, and I know I was guilty of it when I first started, of just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Or being that person, and God, I had a salesperson do this probably about 6 months ago to me, and God bless them, they were new in the industry, so I didn't give them too much hell, but literally walked me out to the car, because I've been looking for an S209. Like, everyone knows, like, that's...
What is that?
It's the brand new 2020 WRX that's coming out, the STI. And they're selling $20,000 over sticker. And I told Adam and I talked about this at the party at Frank's, and I said, I'm not paying $20,000 over sticker for it. I won't do it. I just can't. I've been with Subaru for years. But that being said, I had gone over to this dealership, and the guy, I was just asking him about, the availability, and he takes me to this 2016, it was a WRX, limited, loaded with everything, which I'll give the guy credit for trying to flip me, because he said the S209s weren't going to be available. But the guy literally points to every detail on the sticker and word for word reads the sticker to me. And I went, buddy, I can read. So I think that it's important. Like, you have to tailor that presentation. There are some of those customers that come in. I mean, they're sticklers. All they really want to know is like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and that's it. But most people, I think, are a lot more willing to work with you, and you let the guard down when you just talk. You have a conversation. You let them tell you. I mean, it's no different than doing the silent walk around in a trade. You walk outside with somebody and you start pointing to nicks and dents and dings. I mean, you're going to know that the guy's wife backed into a pole 6 months ago. You're going to know where every scratch came from. They'll devalue it themselves, and it's no different than selling a new car. Same thing.
Yeah. A lot of people aren't. A lot of stores, they're not even going out to look at the car. There is no actual appraisal of the car anymore.
I don't think that's in the best interest of
it. It's just computer screen.
A computer's not going to tell you everything. I mean, it's nothing, nothing against robots or Carvana. I mean, we all have been on both sides of that coin, but it's just like
the only people talking about Carvana and scared of Carvana are car dealers. And if you're scared of Carvana and what they're doing, and man, you got to take a look at yourself.
It very much is that.
I mean, it is such bullshit that it's the get them in mentality. It's stop with get them in. How about go to them?
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many advantages to going to where the customer either A, works or B, lives.
And I want to do that in our store too. Like the store that I want to even offer like extended term rentals. I mean, I want to be in like the Vail Breckenridge area. So can you imagine how many people you would convert if they're there for a weekend to ski and they rent a Subaru from you? They get to do that. You have some kind of a loyalty program. Every time they're there, they get to rent the car. You can transition them into a purchase, or if they want to rent a Highline, you can transition. A lot of those people have a lot of money. And it's so important. I think that, the customers should be able to go online and schedule a test drive and have somebody at your dealership specifically that brings the car to them.
That's right, man. I tell you what.
That service is,
Michelle, if you get somebody, and I mean, I did this, so I mean, this is not theory. This is how I sold 350 cars a year back in, when they still had cranks in the front of them. And
right.
So, but this is pre-internet for sure. So, excuse me.
God.
Do
you guys see what I'm having to deal with today?
That one was kind of gross. It could have been better. So it needed to be deeper. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Not that much. I'm not that sorry. So, at any rate, we're true professionals here. So let's be professional.
One of us is.
Yes. That would not be me. So, here's kind of the whole word track. hey, Michelle, look, I don't know that I can do this. Let me check with my manager. I know the time's a big deal for you like it is for most people, and it's hard to get into the dealership. Let me run this by my boss. You have a boss, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody got a boss, basically. So let me see. What time's your lunch? Noon. Great. Let me run this by the boss and see if if I'm allowed to bring the car out to you. Fair enough?
Yes.
It'll save you some time, right? Can you have 5 minutes? You can come out, take a look at the car? Sure. Instead of get them in. Now, I bring the car out to you. It's unlikely for a number of reasons. First of all, you don't know me that well. And just you have nosy coworkers, or you tell a coworker. So now someone else is going to come out there with you. Mm-hmm. Right? So I introduce myself to you. I introduce myself to them. I give you both cards. While you're looking over the car, I mention it to your colleague that, I pay a bird dog fee, referral fee, this and that, right? I don't try to sell him or her a car. I'm just, telling them, right, and treating you like a absolute, first-class red carpet treatment, right? And just whatever comes to an end, you got to, I know you got to get back to lunch. What would you like to see happen next? Should I call you later today? What would you like to see happen next?
I used to take it a step further than that. I literally, and I sold probably 65% of my cars that way, but I'd go a step further. I would bring a porter out with me. We call them Lot Techs in Cincinnati.
Right.
And
take you home.
Right. And I would literally go out, and I had
them right there.
I had a veterinarian, this is honest to God's truth, that was literally about an hour and 10 minutes. They lived an hour and 10 minutes from the dealership. She wanted to surprise her husband with a brand new Subaru Outback for Christmas, and literally had to jump through hoops to hide the car and all of this kind of stuff. And she had never driven the car before. I got the keys. I grabbed a porter. I got a chase car. We drove that hour and 10 minutes out there. This woman, I literally put a dealer tag on for her. She kept the car overnight, and the very next day, I went back out there. She signed paperwork. She never came into the dealership.
Right.
Never came into the dealership.
Right.
Bought that same car
Right.
at sticker,
Right.
mind you. And the only thing she asked me to do was to take the car that she bought and hide it down the street at
Right.
a friend's
And
house.
how many years ago is this?
This was in 2014.
All right. So that's Carvana, right?
But I worked the dealership. I did that for
Right.
every customer that needed it.
Right. So now, let's jump back to the scenario that I was talking about just a minute ago. They're at work now. The following day, the person that walked out with you and or other people, the colleagues that you're working with, I don't care if you're in an office with 5 people or 555 people, somebody, one of your peers, is going to say, Michelle, what did you buy? Did you do anything to buy that car from that nice young guy that brought that car out? Mm-hmm. Right? There's going to be peer pressure on you to come up shooting with buying a car. Yes or no?
Amen.
You're right?
Yep.
So, in the same way at home, it's like this is old school, quote unquote, but man, if you're in the neighborhood, you pull that car into that driveway, that's like dropping off a dog, the puppy dog clothes. You're not taking that dog back to the adoption center.
Correct.
That dog in your home, you're done. Right? And the nosy neighbor sees the car. It's like, what you got there, Pete?
Yep.
Well, it's a new car I'm looking at. Oh, no kidding. Didn't know you're doing so well. I card him, her, whatever. I mean, it's just, why we don't do that. It's like the old Sam Kinison joke, that people, no water or food in the desert. It's like, move to where the food is. It's like, why is it get them in? Stop that nonsense. Let's go to them. Now, I understand there's some safety issues, perhaps, or I don't know what the hell the other issues are.
CYA, verify the insurance.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I used to have
Check
prominent
people.
business people.
Google them.
Prominent sports players that played for the Reds or for the Bengals. They'd literally come in and we would give them a car to drive. We'd slap that tag and we would let them keep that car very similar. We would do a dealer lease, 90 days.
They pick up those cars, professional athletes, don't they? In a lot of cases, they really do.
Yeah.
I worked at a Buick dealership on the east side of Cleveland, and man, we had a bunch of professional athletes in cars, and they destroyed them, man.
We didn't have in Chicago, we didn't have it happen very often, but there were also a lot of guidelines that went with them. But if you have, even a couple of business owners or people that restaurant owners, people that see other people on a regular basis, hell, somebody, as long as they're responsible, give a bartender a car to drive. You want to talk about somebody who knows everybody in the community?
Right.
Let's make them sign a waiver. They don't drink and drive, period, and all of that. But
Sam Malone, cheers, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, they know everybody, and that's the person that can pitch your dealership for you. Oh, hey, here's a card for 20% off down at ABC dealer, or their employees. Same thing. I mean, it's all about thinking outside of the box. And I think that if you can create an outside of the box culture at your dealership, that's where you're going to start to see a lot more growth.
All right. Let's say, let's take our store. Is it warm, cold? You okay? Temperature-wise in here?
Yeah, it's a little warm, but I'm good. I'm not dying of heat or anything.
Okay. You sure?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Unless you are.
No, I'm fine. So we've got a staff. We got cars. We got everything we need. We got, all the stuff we need to do business. Now, let's break it into two things, if you don't mind. Unsold customers. What's your stance on? Take us through your process of how you would follow up that unsold customer, regardless of the situation, basically. And then how, in a process-wise, how we're going to follow up the sold customer. Would you take us through both those things? Start with the unsold.
So
what are we going to do?
With an unsold customer, you very much just like I said to you, you have to have an objection, I think. You can get run-of-the-mill excuses, but at the end of the day, you have to really dig deep, and a good salesperson is going to find out what the real objection is, not the excuse.
Right.
So I think you kind of have to tailor your follow-up to that specific customer. An average, it's going to take 12 follow-up points.
So we're going to tailor the follow-up to that specific customer and
Correct.
what his or her main objection was, or the one that we've, is there anything other than X stopping you from owning this car, right?
Well, I would give customers 3 options, and I would point blank say there's 3 reasons why people typically don't purchase cars. It's either the price, it's the dealership, or me.
Right.
What is it? I hope it's not me. I hope it's not the dealership. Right. So what are you talking about here? Price.
Jeez, wow.
So, and I would put the ball back in their court. But more than that, I mean, a lot of times people have legitimate objections. Things come up. I think, again, it all comes down to how effective were you at using the time that customer was there to build a relationship with that customer.
Right.
And when you're not constantly beating it into them and going, if I could, would you? If I could, would you? If I could, would you? Like, nobody wants to hear that. So when you really take the time to get to know that customer, I would actually talk to a customer before they would walk out of the dealership and go, okay, I understand that you have this going on today, or maybe this isn't the right timing, or whatever excuse they gave me. Hey, just to let you know that I'm going to give you a follow-up call here in the next 24 hours just to be expecting that so that we can reconvene. How much time do you need?
Good.
When you do that, you're setting the expectation and the customer expects it. When you don't do that, and then you're that guy or gal that's literally just calling the customer 3 times a day because your manager turned down the deal at the beginning of the month.
They're not going to answer the phone.
Nobody answers their phones.
Right.
The other thing that's really important too is it's about meeting your customer at their level and where they're at. So I think texting, as long as they've signed an opt-in and it's not illegal, I think texting is a great way to meet your customer.
Critical.
Nobody wants to talk on the phone anymore.
Critical.
Social media is another great way, especially with this millennial generation. I can't tell you how many people I know in this day and age that they sell cars on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram just because that's where that customer spends most of their time.
And you can actually sell a car that way.
You can.
In the old day where we say, well, back your trade up to the phone.
My favorite were like the block senses and then, you can't be on social media. You're at work. Dealers, if you are not allowing your people to be on social media, it's going to end up costing you sales.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to go where the customers are.
Yeah.
But even more so, like I said, I think reciprocity marketing is huge, and I have a big focus on reciprocity marketing.
All right, that's a cute.
Receive.
That's a cute term. Go ahead and fully define it on what it means to you.
Sure. So in the very basic sense of the word, reciprocity is giving to receive. Put it into the analogy of, okay, let's say I'm having a party, okay? And I invite you, Craig, We'll get to that in
Oh,
at a
okay.
time.
Well, shit. I feel bad now. I thought you were gonna have a party. So
Hypothetically speaking, if you have a
right.
party or a wedding or an event or anything like that, and you invite somebody or you get invited to that particular event, are you not going to feel obligated to then invite that person to go to the event that you hold?
You would feel yes,
Right?
yes.
So
You would reciprocate.
So with unsold customers, it's very similar. And even the smallest tokens of appreciation that make yourself stand out and distinguish you from every other salesperson that they've talked to, whether it's sending, a handwritten follow-up card instead of the awful generic email that's typically in the wrong state of the sales process, or picking up the phone and sending a gift card, or like a gas card to that customer. Hey, I know you were here last week, and how about I cover your gas to come back, and let's see what we can do if this is the right vehicle for you. Just different things. I think, again, you have to meet the customer at their level. Most importantly, you have to be able to relate to that customer, and by all else, just be different. Don't do the same thing that everybody else does. That's how you follow up the unsold customer.
Yeah. So like, hey Michelle, it's Craig from ABC Motors. Look, you were in a day or so ago. So I got I'm calling around this time because I've got a Chick-fil-A gift card here for you. I want to buy you lunch today. So what time can I expect you to come down here? That kind of follow up, right?
Very simple. It's like the whole, and I don't know if you follow like Bar Rescue, for example, but John Taffer talks about the restaurant. And the first time that a customer comes into your restaurant and they put a red napkin down on the table to signify to the waiter that, hey, this is their first time coming in here, right? And they provide them something for free. And then the next time that they come with a check, they get 50% off or they get a free dessert to come back again. And then the next time they get a different color napkin or something to that effect that says, hey, try our specialty and get X amount of dollars off of it. Now you've taken that customer who may not have come back a second or a third time, and now that customer, that they're going to try your dessert. They're going to have dinner with that. They're going to come back a third time because they're going to get the discount off of your prime rib or whatever you're serving. Now you've taken that customer that's never been at your dealership or your place before, and you've gotten business from them 3 different times. And I think that when you relate to customers on that level and you provide little small trinkets of just breadcrumbs, here's why you should do business with us. We're going to be different. We're going to give you this. We're going to do that. Free water and coffee is not a value-added proposition to me. But when you can say to the customer, hey, I value your time. I know that it's valuable. If you're willing to sit and come back and sit down, I'm going to give you a gas card or I'll buy your dinner. Or you have to find something that relates with people on their level. And I think that in itself makes a huge difference to a customer, and they'll continue to buy from you and send their friends and send their family and send everybody that they know because you made them feel different.
How long are we going to follow up? When is the follow up of the unsold customer go on? When are we going to give up? When are we going to stop?
I think it's really subjective to the client. Again, it says that it takes typically 12 follow-ups or tries or contacts before somebody buys. But if you have an adamant customer that literally says to you, stop following up with me, I'm not interested.
Right.
Stop following up with that customer to that extent.
Right.
I mean, if you're going to send out an occasional mailer piece or something like that, but the hounding of the phone, if you have a customer that says, I'm not buying for at minimum this amount of time, you're pestering me, you're bothering me, I don't want you to continue calling with me, at that point, I think it's your due diligence to not call and bother that customer. If you want to send, like I said, an offer out, or if you want to send a trinket out or something that's like dangling the carrot to the customer, that's fine. But like the call and then the email and the texting and the traditional follow-up that we do in that first 30-day window, if the customer says stop, stop.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's a good time to say, hey, dude, stop calling me. Okay, no problem. Is there anyone that you know that now or in the near future that may be interested in these cars?
There's a way I think that you word that. If you've pissed the customer off, asking for referral is probably not the best idea. But, I would honestly, I did that, probably the second or third time that I would follow up with somebody. I would get on the phone and they would give me the excuse of, hey, we're not going to buy right now, or hey, we've decided to do this. And I go, hey, no problem. I understand. Empathy.
Right.
No problem. But just in case, I understand understand that. Do you happen to know a couple of people, anybody you might work with?
Sure.
And if you make it lighthearted and fun,
Absolutely.
they're a lot more willing to give it than when it sounds like it's rehearsed and scripted and you're just begging for sales.
That's right. And with buying cycles now, because it's not, man, there's so many stats out there. In my opinion, a lot of statistical data that comes out from vendors, and I think there's motivation behind that that's not always so altruistic for the public.
Right.
It's a lot of self-serving. So I saw Carrie Wise speak at a Rockstar event.
I love Carrie.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's awesome.
And she said, and I forget what TrueCar's research, and so I apologize because I'm not going to get this right.
And she said it was a 90-day window is what it's been pretty much shortened
to. And she said that, most people say 1.3 dealerships they visit, and I've always thought that was bullshit. And I think, forgive me, Carrie and TrueCar, if I'm getting this wrong, I think at that Rockstar event she said 2.4, and I out loud said, amen, finally somebody telling the truth, like in a room full of people. But it's because that's just bullshit. People go to more than one dealership, period. So my point in saying that is this, that there's still a large amount of people that might either A, do the research online, contact the dealership in one form or another, or physically come in, but they might buy. It might be 3 months before they pull the trigger and actually do something, right? I mean, that's real world.
Absolutely.
So, you have to, in the dealership or wherever it happens, whether that's a BDC process or sales process or whatever, if you're doing cradle to grave, in my opinion, I don't know how it's done, that customer has to be followed up.
Amen.
Going forward, right?
Yeah.
30, 60, 90, 120, I don't know when it's, even if they say, hey, dude, stop calling me. If they don't say that, we have to follow them up until they've either did you call?
Buy or die.
Yeah, you really do, I think. Did you call? Did you? Where'd you get? What'd you get?
It's a different process now. And like I said, it has to be tailored. It has to be more personalized.
Right.
And it has to be where you're reaching the customer at their level instead of just the whole dial. I think that the phone is effective, but I also think there are a lot more methods that are way more effective these days of communicating with that customer. Yeah. If you're the manager that's telling your salespeople that you have to sign off until all of these phone calls have been made, I don't think
that's a CRM. Then our world becomes task oriented. What do you feel about? And I think we're on the same page here, and if we're not, that's cool too. But that, you're a BDR, and I'm the director. And Michelle, you're going to make 100 dials today, or whatever, 140, or whatever the number. To put you on a number is stupid, because it's going to end. I'm going to end up making you a liar.
Oh yeah.
You're going to put bullshit information in the CRM. It's all going to be,
and unfortunately, that's what happens too, even after the sale, because so many people are relying, sales consultants, I see it all the time, whether it's a 1 day, a 3 day, a 7 day, a 30 day, 90. Right. They just BS their way through it. They don't actually do what the task says.
Right.
And if we're becoming just literally at the mercy of a CRM, that's not personalized. It's not getting done.
No.
And if you think that it's getting done, well, shame on you, because it's not. It's it's really not.
Right. You are kidding yourself.
Yeah.
If you think that's actually really happening just because it shows up as a completed task in your CRM, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid.
And anybody can mark anything. I mean, I think
you can't build a relationship making 100 calls a day.
No.
It's impossible.
I would rather see somebody actively marketing on social, or like Sean Hayes has said, putting a group together for your sold customers. You know what I think is really cool too, and something that I think we're going to even look into maybe starting to do, after your customers bought the car, how often do we get calls where they don't understand their technology or something? Like, how cool is it
Right.
to send a text message that says, hey, this is how you program your
Yeah.
phone into your thing if it hasn't been done?
Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
You know what Adam does? You know what they do on every customer? On a test drive, they not hook up the phone. What's it called? They hook up your phone to that car on the demo drive.
That's a good idea.
On the demo
Creates
drive.
a sense of ownership.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, on the demo drive.
I used to take people on test drives to their house and make them pull the car in their driveway.
He told me
in their garage. Yeah.
What the hell is that called?
Bluetooth pairing?
No, yeah, but it's not called tuna, whatever it's called. But it just, I'm like, I made him repeat it. I'm going, what, really?
That's a great idea.
I thought it was brilliant. I had never heard anyone doing that.
Yeah.
Pair the phone.
Pairing the phone.
Pair the phone to the car that they're demoing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's some serious commitment there,
Boy,
man.
and it doesn't take that much time to take it out. But those are the little key differences that are going to separate your dealership and make your dealership stand out, or even you as a sales consultant versus what everybody else is doing. So I think that it's really, really important that we do that and stop relying on a CRM to do a human's job. It's just, it doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah.
Get involved, be in front of your customers at every sale step of the process. Like I said, with retention and follow-up after the sale, it's the same thing. It's that let's do it differently.
Let's hold on to that.
Got it.
Because I want to spend a lot of time on that.
Awesome.
Because that's really in your wheelhouse, right?
It is.
Okay. All right. So, and I want to spend the time it deserves on that, but we gotta pay a couple bills, and then let's play a game. You want to play a game?
I'll play a game.
All right, you game player, you. All right, so I want to thank a couple more people that send us money. That's always good to do, right?
Always.
So, let's see this camera. Rockstar Unconference. Why do they call it an unconference? That's because it's not like a typical conference. Duh. And they sell sneakers. Have you seen the sneakers?
Yeah.
You don't like them? I think they look pretty awesome. I wouldn't wear
I will say this. I designed an AutoFam Strong pair a year ago that was like exactly the same.
No way.
Yeah, I really did. I had people call me like a couple weeks ago. They're like, why is everybody doing shoes just like you did last year? And I was like, hey, flattery gets you everywhere.
I would think, I don't know, guys. I think
they're cool shoes.
I think a woman in a dress with sneakers like that would look pretty cool.
I did that at Women in Automotive.
Although the ones, did you see the ones that Lisa posted like a couple of weeks ago? They had glitter all over them and like spikes and shit.
The leopard ones.
Yeah,
the leopard chucks.
I think they were.
Those are awesome.
And all the women were saying all these. Oh, those are so cute. Now I'm looking at them going, seriously? I wanted to so bad go. Are you kidding me, Lisa? Don't ever wear anything like that. But women, women dress for women and themselves.
Well, I twisted my ankle at Women in Automotive, and Carrie Wise was like, "You should be the chick that just shows up in a business suit and Adidas Superstars in a different color and a different pair every conference."
That's a good idea.
I could pull it off too. I'm that nerdy creator chick. So.
Yeah. Well, didn't you have sneakers on at the party the other night?
I had 4.5-inch heels on, but like I said, I twisted my ankle back in June, and literally, like, it's so hard for me to walk in heels for any major length of time.
Right.
So at the liberty of not looking like a baby cow, I figured it was just, better to put gym shoes on.
And then did you get sick?
Oh, yeah. Food poison. Well, so I'm definitely allergic to mushrooms, like deathly anaphylactic.
Yeah, you said that, yeah.
And I asked all of those people at Frank's party, like all the workers, I'm like, I need to know what has mushrooms. And they told me.
Something had mushrooms. What was it?
Well,
they're delicious.
I don't know. They had like marsala and some other stuff, but
was it the chicken that had the mushrooms or no?
It was like a chicken marsala something.
Yeah.
Well, I asked them specifically about like the macaroni and cheese because I just got a salad and I was just gonna get like a little bit of mac and cheese. I said, has any of this stuff?
Wait a minute. Where was their mac and cheese?
It was next to the other. There was the pan of chicken marsala.
In the line?
Yeah.
Oh,
there's the pan of chicken
kidding me? I
marsala,
missed
and
the
then
mac
the
and
pan
cheese.
next to it was mac and cheese. Well, apparently they were all made in the same things.
Yeah.
And it had touched mushrooms.
Oh, no
So,
kidding.
yeah, like,
And you have that?
oh, it was so bad. My tongue, like, started swelling. The roof of my mouth started swelling. My cheeks started swelling. By the time we got back to the hotel, I literally almost looked like I had mumps. Like, I had to take Benadryl, and then I had Epi, and
Yeah, you told me
yeah,
that.
it was not fun. So,
Even that sucks.
yeah, no, I have a very high allergy to mushroom anything.
Anyhow, back to my buddy Matt Kinning. Matt's awesome.
That is
The
awesome.
Rockstar events, and they've not gotten as much traction as they need to have. They are very unique events. They're different. They're in unique venues. They are off the beaten path venues, which I think is fun. The speakers are. If you look at the speaker lineup for 2019, if you go back and look at the people that have spoken, or in the year before, you got Cardone and Gary Vee did a thing for him.
I didn't know that, did they?
Yeah, Gary Vee did Gary Vee's was recorded, but Grant flew him, his wife, and his daughters out in his jet, his private jet, on his birthday. It was Grant's birthday, to Rockstar,
That's so cool.
and spoke at Rockstar live.
I
It was like,
I literally
where?
credit Grant with like the only training I had for my first like 90 days.
Oh, is that right?
No, he literally, this is back, I'll tell you how long this ago this was. Grant, personally, I met him at a conference that he was doing, and we became friends. Like, I was 18 years old. Like, he literally gave me his personal AOL instant messenger name.
AOL.
And he helped me close, like, from AOL. Like,
No
Messenger,
shit.
he helped me close a few deals. Yeah, like, he was, back then, he was way more approachable.
Right.
And no offense, I think he's done well for himself. I love Grant.
Yeah.
But it's just funny to see how many years, what's happened in 20 years, you know?
He back when he first started, he had, and the way most of those guys started was they'd send hot girls to the dealership and try to pitch you on it.
Really? That's too funny.
Yeah, they'd come in and they'd approach me and say, here's who I am, here's who I represent, and they'd leave you a 10-minute video snippet. It was on a VHS.
On a VHS, yeah.
Right? And then, I'll circle back with you tomorrow and see what you think. And then they'd come back the next day, you'd watch it. And, and Grant, this is 25 years ago, so Grant's 60, I think. So he was like 35 years old, had that big, gigantic head
The
of
fro
hair and all
hair,
that. And, and he was pretty impressive back in the day. Still is, I guess. And although the alien spaceship thing bothers me a little bit, but
A little bit.
yeah, I think that's a little weird. But regardless of that, so she comes in the next day, and I forget what the deal was. There's X amount of dollars per head of your salespeople that you sent. And then her pitch was, why don't you sponsor them, sponsor half of it. They pay half, you pay half, but if they sell X amount of cars after this within a certain amount of time, then you reimburse it. So it costs them nothing. That's her pitch. And can I talk to your sales staff? So I said, sure, why not? And she was attractive. I'm a dog, so at the time, and I was unmarried at the time, so what the hell? No. So I had, 35 salespeople. So she comes in, does this meeting. In the middle of it, she cursed. And it, just went about her thing. And so, we gave her a tennis clap after it was done. And she leaves, or my sales staff leaves. And she goes, well, what'd you think? I said, well, you can't do it. Why? Well, you cursed. We asked a bunch of car salesmen. I said, nah, 2 of them are preachers. They're part-time preachers. It was a total lie. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I said, yeah, I just lied to you, but that's a really good lesson for you. You don't know who your audience really is. Probably shouldn't cuss in the middle of a presentation. You just don't know.
Right.
And we signed up, but it was kind of I know, it was kind of interesting. She said, "Thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's a really good lesson. I just started doing this." So I said, "Yeah, I'm probably, just because we're car salesmen doesn't mean you're allowed to cuss in front of us all the time." But anyway, back to Rockstar. I really go to info at rockstar.com. Info at rockstar.com. We are relaunching in Las Vegas in 2020. These are they're excellent events. They're unique. They're different. You're going to gain something out of it. You're going to gain something from the speakers. You're going to gain something from the networking of the people that attend. I highly recommend it. We, AutoMax, sponsor very few conferences. Rockstar Conferences is one that we actually do sponsor, and we give him money to hold those events. And they are a sponsor of the Recruiter podcast. So I would really ask you to look into it. When you're making a decision, there's so many great choices out there. There really are. There are great choices in terms of conferences. I've not gone to a stinker in a long time. How about you, Michelle? I mean, they're all kind. I mean, you're
No.
I mean, unless you're just a jerk off and look for bad stuff, you're going to get something positive, I think, out of every single conference.
Every conference that I went to this year, I can genuinely say that I walked away a better human being.
Right.
Either because of the people or the speakers.
Right.
Or
the networking's important, is it not?
It's huge.
Yeah.
It really is. And I went to the conferences I went to this year they were all so different. So I did Hustle and Grind, which that in itself, it was a remarkable event. My life was forever changed by it. And then I did Morris Growth Con, which really was not about automotive at all. It was more just about growing your personal business. And I learned so much from that. Danelle Delgado was one of my dearest friends. So getting to hear her speak at that again, it was really just a different dynamic, much smaller scale. And then coming back, and I did Women in Automotive, and being in that environment where it was predominantly other women. There are guys that come to Women in Automotive too, but for them to market and the way that it was done, it was exceptional. And it gave me a long, hard look at the difference, just at how women look at things and the importance of women in this industry. And it was really incredible. So, no, the networking is huge. The networking is like the best part. That's why we go to conferences, is to network.
Right.
So
right, and and I learned. I mean, I've been in the business 47 years. It's like. I'm that guy that when they go through the roll call, how long you been in the business? I'm like, oh, here we go. They're going to get to 40 years, and it's like, but there's so much more to learn. If you want to stay current, if you want to be, the old guy in the front porch, I kid around that I'm that guy, but I like to try to stay current with stuff. And
they got the right kind of dog for it.
Yeah, right? Yes, I do. She is that. But it's important that networking to reach out to people that are, in my case, younger than me, know more about technology than I do, know more about, more current trends in terms of client retention and so forth and so on. I mean, it's one of the reasons, I'll leave here today without a doubt with information that I can use that I didn't otherwise have unless you were here.
And then you're going to sign a
across
deal
from
with me, right?
Put your hand away.
Do you see that? Do you see that? See? See what he does? No, you absolutely will, and you should.
Yeah, we probably should. You have a great company, so
I appreciate that. I try.
Look there's your hand. It's a delay, but there's your hand coming across.
I told TJ too. I was like, I'm going to pitch him right on camera because
that's okay. That's more pressure. That's for sure.
I don't mean to put pressure, but I have a viable product, and you need more client retention.
There's nothing wrong with pressure when it comes to sales, in my opinion.
I'm pretty good at staying on top of people and following up. I do that.
That's your business.
It is my business.
So, reach out to my buddy Matt. He can be found anywhere, and he's like really accessible. So, info at rockstar.com. Yeah, that's fine. But you can reach Matt on any of the social platforms. He's very, 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 very engaged. And the last friend of the program I'd like to talk about, but not least, is our friends at Tecobi, TECOBI.com. Jason Girdner. If you're on Facebook and you're a friend of Jason, chances are he'll come across your timeline.
At least 100 times a day.
Yeah, somewhere in the hundreds. Multiple. Yeah. Jason's very shy. He has a hard time expressing himself. He doesn't really want to talk much about anything on social. But they're a unique company, and they really, I'm telling you what, they got Facebook down pretty damn good. When you get in a situation, this is a situation he's in. It's the reason we, all these, he calls them ninjas. They're all through, not all of them, but the overwhelming majority of them are through AutoMax. And it was like, what do you need all these people for, dude? You know what it is? They were providing so many leads for dealers that the dealers could not keep up with the leads.
I absolutely believe that.
And so, of course, when that happens and the dealer calls and say, hey, this doesn't work, right? So you decide, well, I'm going to put an end to that. I'll just hire people to work their leads.
Right.
Which is kind of weird, but it's like, well, okay, makes sense. Really, it kind of makes sense. So they really are on top of things. Dan Webb, who was on the podcast here several months ago with my son Joe Lockard, guys, I don't want to say he's an animal. That's not really.
Dan is definitely a beast.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
He really is.
Yeah, he's a pretty relentless salesperson in a good way.
I will give him that.
Right.
Yes.
And they've really come out of nowhere and are very successful. And the reason they're successful is because they're providing results for car dealerships. So, and that's the important thing. They're providing leads. I know some people go, he said leads, opportunities, whatever you want to call them. I don't really care. All I know is he's putting people that end up buying cars in front of car dealerships. So whatever you want to call that, have at it.
At the end of the day, that's all dealers care about.
Right. Reach out.
Selling more cars and making more gross. That's it.
Reach out. There's a million ways to get at them. Tecobi.com, obviously, but Dan Webb, 2Bs, on Facebook, because they're all about Facebook. Scarlett Mick or Jason Girdner. Reach out to those folks and let them pitch you. And you might find that they can end up putting a whole bunch of net profit to your bottom line at the end of the year, and that's pretty damn important. So those are the end of our sponsors. We're going to get to after the sale. Mm-hmm. Guess how long we've been in here so far?
A long time.
Don't look at your phone.
Oh, no, but you told me I'd be out of here by 3 o'clock to avoid traffic, and it's already like 2:40.
Yeah, shit.
We have been in here a long time.
2:46. Unbelievable.
You're easy to talk to, though. I could literally do this for hours and hours. I can just sit and
weird,
talk.
man. This is time warp, this room. It's so weird.
It is.
It's just you really lose track. It's like, how could we have been in here 2 hours and 45 minutes?
I know, right? That's crazy.
Well, it's because you keep changing subjects.
Yes, I forgot. Blame the woman.
All right, so this is the time of the program where we go. This is the only corny thing in the. Well, no, it's not. No, that's not true. I'm pretty.
See, you'll just have to bring me back for a part 2 when we sign our deal together.
We'll do that. The part 2, anyway.
Guys, put some pressure on Craig here.
Yeah, pressure me.
Pressure.
This is the part of the program that's called Fabulous Fibs. Fabulous Fibs, Fabulous Fibs. So,
don't write jingles.
In this game, I am not a jingle writer. In this game, there's 2 parts to this game, but in this game, here's your thing. I'm going to read off 3 statements to you.
Okay.
3 statements. I'm going to read them twice.
Okay.
One of the statements that I'm going to read to you is true. The other 2 are fibs.
Okay.
They're untrue.
Okay.
Your job is to pick the one that is true, and if you do, you win a prize.
Okay.
All right. So, statement number 1: the human brain stays the same size from age 12 to death. Statement number 2: humans are the only creatures that voluntarily eat spicy food. Statement number 3: chocolate causes more weight gain than any other food? Let me read those again. Number 1, the human brain stays the same size from age 12 to death.
No, that's false.
Number 2, humans are the only creature that voluntarily eat spicy food.
I think that one's true.
Number 3, chocolate causes more weight gain than any other food.
False.
So your final answer is?
Spicy food wins.
Dude. Spot on. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I
Way
knew-
to go.
I knew the human brain thing wasn't true, and I
Yeah.
knew the chocolate thing couldn't be true. So it was just process of elimination.
Our brain starts shrinking at around, given it take around 60 years old.
Yeah, the brain isn't even fully developed though, growing until like after you're like 19 or early 20s.
Yeah.
So
For
that
guys, it's mid-25. Our frontal lobes are
yeah,
a little screwed up.
yeah. So I knew that wasn't true.
So don't you date anyone younger. Oh, wait a minute. You're already.
I am.
Yeah.
Don't out, man. You're
I
just
mean,
outing
20
all my secrets today.
Well, I mean, under 25.
No, he's not under 25.
Okay, good. Chocolate causes more weight gain than any other food. False. Potato chips, about
Yeah.
1.7 pounds every 4 years for
I
average
would believe
person.
that. Yeah, there's
That's
a lot
crazy.
of grease and salt and
Dude, that's so true.
Yeah.
I can't show you that one.
yuck.
All right, let me get you something.
Is it a pen to sign my deal with?
Nope. They're really corny Hot Wheels.
You're giving me Hot Wheels. How cool. Is there a Subaru in there?
I don't know. Let me look. Pick the ones you want.
He needs some Subaru Hot Wheels, Adam Aarons.
Almost. I need to get. You know what? He got a Subaru, I think, when he was here.
Of course he did. He took
What the
mine.
hell is that?
These are so awesome though. A wheelie chair.
No, the back came off of one of those.
Oh, you
Pick
got a
one.
Ducati.
We're getting near the end here. We need more.
Well, these are all pretty pimp. The 85 Honda, an Octane. I'm gonna take the Ducati. Cause yeah, I ride bikes. So
Awesome.
I don't have a Ducati. I will at some point.
And a girl. Gotta have goals.
Hayabusa or Ducati, I'm not sure which, but I love the Ducati.
All right. So you nailed that. You killed it. However, there's a bonus round.
Oh boy.
All right. Here's the bonus question.
Okay.
And you are from the Queen City.
I am.
For those of you that don't know what that is, it's not San Francisco.
No, it's not.
There's a joke in there somewhere that's totally unwoke.
That was totally inappropriate, but
Right,
okay.
completely inappropriate. Not PC. Have you seen that they have poop maps in
What?
San Francisco?
Are you kidding me?
No, I swear to God, you can Google it, where they show you online where there's human poop.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
Okay, I don't think I'll ever be going to San Francisco.
It's,
Just saying.
It's horrible.
I heard when you guys were out there for NADA how bad it was.
I won't go.
Yeah,
I won't
didn't go.
I've been in San Francisco 2 or 3 times.
Are you going to Vegas this year?
No, we're not.
I'm going to New Orleans next year for sure. I love New Orleans.
We are too.
but-
We had our end of the year first quarter meeting the other day and made a lot of
Oh
decisions.
yeah, you were supposed to call me after that meeting, right?
Was I?
You said you said you were going to call me. 'Cause you said I was on.
Are you sure I said that?
I have got a text from you. I don't make a liar out of me.
No. Well, it's the early Alzheimer's.
That's the excuse.
It's a good one. I can use a lot. I actually take medication for it. So. All right. Bonus question. The founder of Skyline Chili.
It's not fair. I want some Skyline so bad.
Those of you that have not had Skyline Chili,
Dude, you're missing
you
out.
just don't get anything. It's
No.
so good.
Yeah.
The founder of Skyline Chili was an immigrant of Mediterranean descent. Which country
Greece.
was he?
Yeah, know
All
all
right,
about that
Joe,
too.
nice try. It did. All right, you and
can't
Adam
stump me on.
Aarons.
You can't stump me on Skyline.
You and Adam Aarons. I'm not kidding. You're the only 2 people that have gotten both right.
Really?
Yeah, that's
Maybe you need harder questions.
that's freaking impressive, dude.
Oh, thanks.
That is impressive.
Yeah, I know all about the Skyline backstory.
Nicholas, man, I don't know how to
I
pronounce
can't remember how to say his.
Lambrinides.
Yeah, I don't
Lambrinides.
remember how to say his
Grew
last
up
name.
watching his family create dishes in the village of Castoria, Greece. He modeled his famous recipe after his family's homemade recipes.
Yep.
Wow.
And it was actually brothers that formed it, and then they
Dude,
split
that
off.
is
So
impressive.
yeah,
That's really impressive. Good for
you
you.
should have Skyline Chili sponsor your show.
Take another, yeah. Skyline sponsor the show. We're trying to, we have to reach certain numbers, and ZipRecruiter is going to end up being a.
Well, if you want to reach higher
sponsor.
numbers, you should definitely check out my friend Aaron Lane and his Tragedy to Triumph podcast. He's in Cincinnati, and he's actually he's an on-air personality for like the major radio stations there. So, and his story is incredible. He's great on. He's great. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
He could get you a Skyline sponsor.
Yeah, well, typically these you have to have X amount of this big number. Take another one.
Take another one?
Yeah.
Well, just you can leave it for somebody else.
No.
I'll take bragging rights. Bragging rights are good.
We have to get another box.
You just need another box. Okay, cool. Well, I'll take one. They match. They can sit on my shelf together.
Joe, we need another box of cars. So
Yes, Joe, you need more Subarus.
get a Subaru box. All right, that was fun. That's impressive, man. Let's stop the podcast now. You're not going to get any better than that. No, we're not. All right, so, shit. Before I forget, I should have done this earlier, and I apologize. And we'll do it again at the very end of the show, which we should wrap it up at some point here. What are the different ways and or the best way to get a hold of you?
Anywhere.
To do business with you.
Honestly, we are all over social media. I am personally all over social media, but I use Facebook, I use Instagram, Retention Masters. But you can.
If you just type in Michelle McLain,
yes,
MC capital
C,
L.
1C.
Right, MC capital LAIN. On Twitter, on Instagram, obviously Facebook.
Or you can use hashtag AutoFamStrong or hashtag We Rise Together. Like those get you to me too.
Okay.
Those are my hashtags.
All right, say that again.
Hashtag AutoFamStrong.
Okay.
That's my hashtag. I actually had it trademarked.
Wow.
And hashtag We Rise Together. If you use those in any conjunction with automotive industry, you'll find all of my content pretty much pops up on Google.
LinkedIn.
I'm on Instagram, Twitter. I'm not a big fan of the Snapchat. I have an account, but don't try to reach me there.
Website.
www.theretentionmasters.com.
Theretentionmasters.com. Great.
Yes.
And you want to put out a phone number?
Sure. It's 843
843
743
743
3636.
3636.
Text is best. If you blindsidedly call my phone, I probably will not answer.
Say that again.
I said text is best. If you blindsidedly call my cell phone, we don't have an appointment, I'm probably going to send you to voicemail. Just saying. But
I'm
really
that way
reachable.
too, man. If you're not in my phone,
Right. That's
it goes to voicemail.
It goes to voicemail. Well, I get so many spam calls too, and I'm just like I even have RoboKiller, but like I'll just get random people, especially when I do stuff like this and I put my phone number out. After the first week, I'll just get random people that start calling just because they want to call, and I'm like, do you know me? Do we have business together? So texting's definitely best.
here's something you might want to look. Oh, did you post that? I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
This is kind of huge, so. Let's see. This is something that I've used for, where is it? It's called Umail. It's a free app.
I had that, I think. Is that what
Yeah.
they do? like the voicemail recordings or something like, yeah, I did it. And I don't remember what it was that I canceled it.
Yeah,
I think because they wanted like personal and private information and that I had to give to them or
Really?
something. Yeah, I downloaded it at one point and I started using, now I use like Grasshopper, and I know GoDaddy has a service too that you can actually set up. And with AT&T, you can set up dual SIM now. So I'm getting ready to go to that, to where we have two separate lines, my personal number, and then we're going to have a separate business number. But yeah, I did try that.
Yeah, I kind of like it because it does, like you said, it's if you called me, it's a woman's voice that says, "Hi, Michelle."
Yeah.
Craig's not, and it's like, what? So, which is, I don't know.
Yeah,
kinda
RoboKiller
cool.
does the same thing, except they're more rude, especially for spam calls.
But this identifies spam calls, and then if it does not, then you report it as spam, and then they call again, it blocks it.
Right.
So, which is kind of cool. And all the block calls, they're immediately spammed.
Yeah, I'm
put in
trying
the
to
spam.
remember why I got rid of email. I used it for a little while last year. I don't remember.
Well,
though.
there's a free version which I'm on, and it transcribes the first, I don't know, 15 calls or something, and then, but there's a price bump.
I really want to go back to my Google Voice number because that was a lot easier, and then it had it screened people and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But if you don't
yeah.
actively use your Google Voice number for a certain amount of time, it goes away. So you can't
Oh, is
keep
that
this.
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know that
I
either.
didn't know that.
I didn't either.
huh.
Yeah, so
Oh, man, it's out of hand, man.
stuff to get to know. Oh, the spam.
And
It's insane.
when they're got your own area code now, that's really tricky.
Oh, yeah, they call you from your phone number. Yeah, we had that.
Oh, you've gotten those?
Oh,
Where
yeah,
they
they'll call
you
me from
your-
my phone number. Oh,
No.
yeah.
What's up with that? How's that happen?
I have no idea. There's some, I don't know exactly what they're doing it, but normally it's
That's
the-
scary.
Yeah, to say that your social security number has been reported or identified as fraud is one they call with, and then your AT&T, they even know your phone provider, so they'll call and say your AT&T account has been compromised, and we're calling you to let you know. Call us back, and it's all scams.
Have you gotten the email yet where they have your password, your
No.
email address and password, and they say they have
No.
compromising pictures of you, and they have your login.
No,
and
but
they're
I know
gonna
that
tell all
people
your
have
friends.
gotten that, and it's actually people who have footage of people, like crazy shit. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and I don't know where they're getting stuff like that from, but that's scary.
But several of AutoMax team members have gotten it. I've gotten it, and it's like, and
I always tell people cover your.
and it was an old password, but it was spot on.
That's scary.
It scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
scared
it's
the hell
just
out of the girls, 'cause-
Phishing software, and I tell all the girls too that I talk to, anybody really, like, if you're not using your webcam on your computer, put a piece of tape over it, because literally people can access that anytime, anywhere, any
Yep,
day, and
yep.
it's not to scare anybody; it's just the truth.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Huh?
So yeah, I mean, I'm really cautious, like, and I'm having personal or private conversations too. Like, I turn my phone off.
I know, man.
How
it's
many
weird.
times have you had a conversation on the phone or in a text, and then all of a
Bang.
sudden, bang, right in your Facebook feed, there's an ad for whatever you just discussed on the
I know,
phone.
dude.
Places you're gonna travel, products that you use. I mean, that's a little too Big Brother for me, I think.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, I try
Let's see
to.
if it works. Let's see. What could we do? Subaru. What's a Subaru model? Subaru what? Subaru.
Subaru WRX STI.
Subaru
S209. Brand new
S209.
S209. Yeah.
Subaru S209. Subaru S209.
Yeah, you don't even have to repeat it a million times. It'll just within the next day or even in the
Let's
next
see if
hour.
that happens.
Watch, it'll show up in your Facebook feed as an ad
yeah.
talking about something from Subaru.
That'll be
Guaranteed.
interesting.
It's kind of crazy that they do that.
I did a podcast with a friend of mine, David Johnson, who works for a big ad agency in Manhattan. And how did this go? So his kids were at home, and we were talking about artificial intelligence and robots and all that crazy stuff and aliens and whatever. It went, I don't know, our conversation got in a weird spot. And so he had Alexa at home.
Oh God, I hate
So we said, well, let's try it out. So he asked me, he said, who's your favorite band? And I just thought it was, I said, Springsteen. And he said, what's your favorite song? I said, Thunder Road. And I started singing, screen door slams, merry dress waves. Alexa, play Thunder Road. Screen door slams, merry dress waves. Like a vision, she dances across the porch like the radio plays. Roy Orbison singing for the lonely. Hey, it's me and I want you only. Until young again, I just can't face myself alone again. Don't run back inside, darling, you know just what I'm here for. So go through all that, and David called me later that night. When I did that, his Alexa played Thunder Road. One of his kids said, all of a sudden Alexa came on and played Thunder Road. Like,
That's crazy.
what?
I know. Oh, my parents, when we evacuated, we had to evacuate for Dorian, and God love my parents. They're in their 60s. My stepdad is
Be careful.
the tech. No, but he's a techie nerd. Like literally, he's real techie. So they literally have their whole house wired. There's an Alexa in every room, connected to every light, connected to door cameras.
Really?
They've got the Ring system that's connected to Alexa. So
I'm
literally,
going to get Ring. That looks awesome.
the Ring was cool, but literally, like I would walk down. They went out of town while we were still there. And like anytime the wind would move or anything happened, like it would chime Alexa, and Alexa would go, "There's activity at the front door."
Oh, no way.
There's activity at the front door. And like
That's
my
too much.
parents, the only way to turn the lights on in their house, you literally have to say to Alexa, "Alexa, turn on smart socket. Alexa, turn on smart socket 1 or smart socket 2." And the
that's a
whole
pain.
time I was there, that it drove me bonkers.
Yeah,
like
that's a little too much.
yeah. So Mom, I love you dearly. I can't stand your Alexa. I gave her my Alexa because I had gotten one, and I literally hated Alexa so much. Like it was creepy because anything we would talk about in just regular conversation, like
Yeah.
me and Ryer,
Yeah.
it would show up on my phone after Alexa
Right.
heard,
Right.
and it just the creep factor. No, I was done.
What's the meme? The husband and wife get in a fight, and it's like, I laughed, Siri laughed, Alexa laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we have Google, Hey Google, and Joe. Well, my son Joe has it. So when he comes in, it's only hooked up to his voice. So he brings it in, but it's pretty funny because it'll be, "Hey Google, tell us a joke." And
Oh,
she'll come
Siri's
up with a
jokes are
joke.
kind of funny, but the Alexa thing
Yeah.
it's creepy to me. It really is.
All right, so let's get to this. So, okay, so we've done everything right. So we've built a dealership. We've hired all the right people. We've established a culture. We follow up everything. I mean, it's like this is the place to work. People love coming to work. We're big in our community. We've opened up the doors to our meeting rooms and our showrooms, and we're doing everything right. We're profitable. We're making money. However, we need, because I don't know, maybe you know these numbers, I don't, and I probably should. Is customer retention, client retention still like in the 20 percentile or something like that? Are people coming back to do business at a store? Or is it? I mean, it's
so
really
they say that in
scary
the next
low.
probably 24 months, that 80% of your future business is going to come from 20% of your current clients.
All right, say that one more time.
80% of your future business
Right.
comes from 20% of your current clients.
Oh, well, that's scary.
Really scary numbers. And that was just in the latest polls that came out. That was literally less than 90 days ago.
Wow.
So
That's expensive.
well, it's a millennial generation, and now you see so much that a lot of people value their time more than they do their money. People are willing to pay more for better service, for more convenient options.
Time is money.
It is. And, the dealerships that unfortunately are not investing in client retention are going to see that they're not going to be retained. They're not going to retain business, but more than that, they're not going to remain in business. What the models that we see, I mean, on average, just investing in taking 5%, let's just small number, taking 5% of your total annual ad budget and putting that back into your current clients and your clients who continue to do business with you can actually increase your profit up to 125%.
All right, I'm sorry. These are important points. So that I want to make sure because it's like as a podcast host, you have to be very careful to listen
absolutely.
to understand rather than listen to respond.
Yeah.
And as an audience, sometimes you glaze over things that you hear.
Sure.
So go over that one more time, if you will,
Sure.
because that's really important what you just said.
So, as dealers, if you invest a minimum 5% of your total ad budget, just taking that small of an investment and retargeting that into current clients and the customers who are actively doing business with you, you can increase your profit 125%.
Right.
So, on average, just to kind of give you like a breakdown, a repeat customer on average will spend $872 more in gross than a first-time walk-in client will. Those are actual NADA figures. So when you look at that in the grand scheme of things and you're making an extra $872 in profit for each one of those deals, you're not having to really try as hard either.
Right.
They also account for typically a fresh customer and has an average of about a 74% CSI, whereas a repeat customer or a referral is going to give you around a 92.8%. So your CSI is going to go through the roof. That translates into dollars for you.
Sure.
A lot of dollars, because when you start looking at manufacturer bonuses and stair-step money, allocation, all of those things that we all as dealers at the end of the year are going, oh crap, we're in hot water. We're a point below mark. We're going to miss the bonus. We're going to miss early allocation. I mean, these are things that you need to really take into consideration.
CSI used to be such a total joke. I mean, we'd flat out pay people. It was just
I know. People used to fake email addresses, and now you got FCRA involved in that and all of the fraud. And, I mean, dealers are getting sued for doing that.
Right.
So
it's probably swung too far the other, well, whatever. It's a score. It's still, it's like people could be really happy with, if it was a 1 to 10, people can be really, really love you and give you a 9, and it screws you up.
yeah, but then then you also run into the situation of half of those people don't even return the survey. So that's where somebody like me comes in. And again, we talk about dangling the carrot. We give them reasons.
Yeah, here what she's about to say is crazy important, because I don't know about all y'all out there, but typically the only time that I fill out any kind of survey or review is if it sucks.
Very true.
So, go ahead.
So it's very important that your law of averages, that you're getting more of those surveys being returned to your dealership.
Right.
Because one bad survey, it's going to take 10 good surveys to make up for that. And a lot of your clients, if you're not expressly asking them or offering them, and it's kind of red tape because you can't really offer them something to bring the survey back.
Right.
But you can actively stay in touch with that customer after the sale and make sure that you're meeting their needs. You can do things like sending a personalized video that explains how to do certain functions. We do all types of really cool things.
Well, that's a good idea.
We do 3D cards, like of the staple car of the dealership, and we send those out. So they're like a 3D.
Slow that down. What do you mean?
We do. So instead of sending out like a traditional little manila postcard or card that has the gold writing that is generic, what we do is we actually create either full color double-sided postcards that are exclusive to the sales consultants or the dealer, or we also do 3D pop-up cards so that when you open it, it's the staple car of that dealership. So like it's a 3D Jeep or it's a 3D Corvette.
Oh, that's cute.
But they don't end up at the bottom of trash cans like the little cheap manila things do. They've got a handwritten message on them. They're personal. And these are things that sit on desks for, weeks and months to come, or on a refrigerator, and they create conversations. And these are things that I personally implemented into every sale that I did when I was on the sales floor. So I did things like that. Or, we'll call the customer and we'll find out what's important to that customer. Maybe they like golf, or maybe they're a baker, or it doesn't matter what they do, but then we'll create something personalized to that customer because we find out what's important to them. We find out their buying habits. We find out how often they purchase. And we really just create conversations, ongoing conversations with the customers. We don't do generic templates. That's another thing that's so bad in dealerships. If you're relying on the CRM to send out a template email to your customer based off of the follow-up schedule the OEM gives you, you have to regularly audit those. I mean, literally.
Why? What?
So just an example. So Ryan's truck blew up about 4.5 months ago. So we ended up he had to get a new car. So he bought a Jeep. And the Jeep dealership, literally a week after we purchased the car from the dealership, they sent us this thing that said, it's time to trade in your car. We'll pay you $2,500 over KBB. Bring your car in, trade it in now. And they were talking about the Jeep that we had just bought. I actually called the general manager of the store and I had it out. I said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, you sent this to the wrong person. And not only did they not email it, they text it to me. So double whammy. So I got a text from this dealership and an email from this dealership on the same day encouraging me to trade in the vehicle that we had just purchased a week ago. And jokingly, I called back the general manager and I said, "Oh, you're going to pay me $2,500 more than the car I just bought from you?" I'm like, "Where do I sign that deal?" And he didn't know I was in the automotive industry until I said something. But it just goes to show that wrong branding and messaging can really push away a customer. And the customer's like, "Are you even following what's going on in your dealership?"
Right.
It's so bad.
Right.
So bad.
And that's due to using the CRM in an improper way or
Very true.
I mean, automation is great. It is a time saver.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
It's not replacing the human element of affection and empathy and reaching your customer on a different level. I used to call customers when they would buy a car. They would literally walk out of the dealership and they would be leaving in their brand new car. And I would be calling and leaving a voicemail on either their cell phone.
I did that. Where did you get this? This is like, I did the same thing 20 years before you. That is so weird.
I did. And I'd be like, "Hey, it's Michelle. I just want to thank you for your purchase today."
The minute their taillights hit that curb, man, I'm calling them where I know they're not at.
Exactly. And that's what I would do that. And
it's awesome. I love that.
I literally had custom postcards made that had me and my kids and my dogs. And it literally said, "From my family to yours, thank you for your business." And I put a handwritten note on it. And I can't tell you how many customers would call me and say, "Oh, I put this on my fridge." And so many, their friends or family would come over and go, "Oh, who's that on your fridge?"
Of course.
"Well, that's the person that sold me my car.
Right,
you should go see Michelle."
Right. Typically, the only thing that goes on the fridge is what? Homework. Like
pictures
I
of the
just
kids.
the other day took down my 1-year-old granddaughter's birthday party. It was over a month ago. I just took off the refrigerator, but that's typically what's on the refrigerator. So if you're on the refrigerator, it is a big deal, right?
Yeah. And I mean, that's what I did. And I took those little things that made all the difference in the world and I started creating them on a larger scale for dealerships. And so everything that we do, it's customized and it's tailored to either the individual dealership or the sales consultant. We handle calls, we handle emails, we handle the complaints. I think that when you're in the moment, if you get a customer who's frustrated, they've had a really bad experience with your dealership,
right,
instantaneously, we as people, we tend to take offense and we take that personally.
And go on the defensive.
Right. And you do.
If you're involved in the situation.
Correct. You go on the defensive and then that results in poor CSI. But somebody like me, who's completely objective, comes in, having 20 years in the automobile experience and in all those facets, and my team having a minimum of 5 years in the industry, I don't hire people that don't have that experience because I think they need to be on the front lines and they had to have literally been in the trenches and know.
Important.
It is very important to me. But when we pick up the phone and we call a client, we're looking at it from an objective and we're trying to create a solution that makes the customer and the dealer happy, and we bridge that gap. So if a customer's had a bad experience, we empathize first and foremost with that customer.
Right.
We relate to them, we simmer them down, and then we get a general manager involved so that we can try to mediate and find a happy medium. A lot of times, literally, it just takes somebody going, "I'm sorry, and I understand."
Right.
For a customer to go, "You know what? I was having a bad day that day, and I'm very sorry. We're not going to take that out on the survey."
Yeah.
And just that quick, you can change a mood by being compassionate.
Right. It's sometimes agree or disagree with me on this statement. Sometimes the best way to handle some things is not by starting to say, well, I can't do that. The best way to, in that scenario, is say, here's what I can do.
Exactly.
Instead of starting at, well, I can't do that.
Correct.
And then, man, that thing's going to escalate in a hurry, yes or no?
It does, and then it translates into bad reviews that you
Yeah,
can't get off of your
right,
pages.
right.
No, it's just always making sure that the customer understands that there's a two-way open door, and that
Yeah.
if they have any questions or if they have concerns, the last thing we want to do is take back cars. But for every 100 times that it doesn't happen, that one, it's just better to nip it in the bud, deal with it, and move on. There's nothing worse than stringing a customer along. It's just going to create bad CSI and a bad reputation for your dealership.
Michelle, in the late 80s, I was part of a consulting company, and we did what were, back in the day, were called turnaround deals. We'd go in, strictly, we got paid on a percentage of whatever we increased the profit. And at every store, we'd put in a buyback guarantee immediately. And it was way before anybody did stuff like that. And the dealers, that was almost our biggest hurdle, was like, what do you mean? 3 days? It was like, are you crazy? In the unlikely event that that happens, what we do is we're going to put that in a newspaper. We bought a car back. This person wasn't 100% satisfied, so we bought their car back. Think of the traffic that's going to get you. What? You're not only going to give a guy's money back, but then you're going to advertise that we did it?
Transparency is huge.
It was
It creates credibility. It really does. And you know what? Sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and do the right thing.
I got to pee really bad, and I've never done this, so I apologize. So you're going to be on your own for a minute. What I'd like you to do, just to give you some direction on this thing, go further with, I don't, flat out pitch, so okay with me. Like if there were two dealers sitting here in front of you, and you're pitching, quote unquote, air quotes for those of you that are going to be listening
I
to
don't
this on the
pitch. I build
podcast.
relationships. I just don't.
If you're sharing the advantages to doing business with you,
Sure.
do that while I'm gone.
You got it.
Okay.
You got
And
it.
I'll be back in a minute. I'm really sorry. But
Oh, no, you're
I really got to
fine.
go. I thought I was fine before the
You're
podcast.
fine. We
but-
are going to have to wrap here soon, though.
Yeah,
'cause
we
it's
will.
3:30.
Yeah, yeah.
And I need to get on the road and avoid rush hour traffic.
I know, dude.
To go see the
All right.
Bermans.
Just give me a minute.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Oh, you're going to see Laura and Rick?
Yeah, I'm staying
Oh.
with them tonight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, driving down to Delaware. All right, so now that you're on the Michelle show. All right, guys. So here, I'm just going to level with you. I'm going to kind of tell you the importance. So we have a philosophy at Retention Masters where we have pretty much a 4-point process, and it's starting about with recruiting. Once you recruit, then you retain, then you get referrals, and then you repeat the process. So we offer a couple of different projects and products. We have one main focus, which is getting more clients to do business with you, and that's obviously the focus for you as a dealership or you as any business, is to get more repeat and referral business. So the philosophy that I've taken, it's a 2-prong approach. So we've really kind of branched out to do a lot more on social media, really kind of creating content and getting into the clients' faces from your social media page. And I do that for a lot of different people right now, not just automotive. But really kind of creating that baseline level to where people actually know who you are. Because at the end of the day, if people don't know who you are, then they're probably not going to be doing a whole lot of business with you. So that's kind of the first step, is really just laying the foundation and establishing who you are as a business or who you are as a consultant or a salesperson or what have you, and getting in front of the people who are going to do business with you. So once you've gotten those people to effectively do business with you, then we have more of a targeted approach, if you will, to client retention and reciprocity marketing. And we do this, again, for dealerships, or we do this pretty much for any business. But we have a full-on retention program where we create unique content that will go out to your clients after the sale. These can be anything from like personalized gifts and trinkets that will go out to your clients. We do cookies, we do 3D pop-up cards. Everything that we do is really custom tailored to you and your business and the messaging that you want to send out. But it's very important that you're meeting your customers on that personal level. And so for auto dealers, we offer 3 years of all-inclusive follow-up, everything from your calls, your emails, texting, cards, cookies, anniversary, birthday, Christmas cards, you name it. We do all of that for 3 years for dealers. And then again, we can custom tailor that to individual businesses based off of what the need is. Maybe you as a regular, non-automotive business, you don't have that great of a need for that, and you're not doing as much client retention. But so we can tailor that for you. And then we also do reciprocity marketing in the community, and we heavily are involved in community action and engagement, where we create, design, and plan events for your dealership so that you can spotlight other business owners in your community and effectively create reciprocity deals between your dealership and other businesses. And then we do a full-on reciprocity program and campaign where my team and I, who are all experienced automotive professionals, we will actually go out, we get on the ground, and we hit local businesses. We introduce ourselves on behalf of your dealership. We create deals so that their employees as well as their clients can be sent to your dealership. And then in turn, you buy a gift card right back to their business. So we create a full reciprocity circle. We connect with Chamber of Commerce. So we do like a full week on the ground campaign in your dealership, in your backyard, in your community to really put the name of your company out there and build those relationships. So everything that we do, like I said, whether it's on the social media side of it or the post-sale side of it, where we're doing the creative, the print work, the calls and the emails, or actually getting out into the community, it's all about you, and it's all about creating relationships and taking the relationship to the next level so that more people know who you are. And once those people know who you are, they do business with you, and then they continue to do business with you because they feel respected, appreciated, and feel like you're on their level. So that's pretty much what Retention Masters does. Does your bladder feel better, Craig?
I feel light as a feather. I could fly around.
Well, you
this
drink like a
room,
gallon
and
of water, so.
I know. Well, it's important. Water's good for you.
Water is definitely good for you.
It's so important in terms of follow-up. It's pretty simple if you're a business owner. Like, our clients have to be followed up.
You would think.
They're within that follow-up, there should be reasons, however you go about it, reasons to continue to do business and tell others to do business with you, correct?
Correct.
Right. The tricky part is to not make it seem like a process, or if you're from Canada, process.
Very true. Shout out to Katie Mears.
Right. We've had a lot of Canadians on here. Shout out to all our Canadian friends. Canadians are really nice people.
They are.
They seem nicer than us.
They are very nice.
Yeah.
Well, because they don't have the media shoving in their face all of the bad stuff. It's like we do.
Probably. Yeah. It's so there's somewhere, and I don't know how to do it. You do. To take it from being a process, a task, into really a meaningful, real follow-up, a concerned effort, a follow-up that's a continued relationship builder.
Absolutely.
That it's real. Like, I really care about you. That's why I'm following up with you.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you're happy, that you don't have any questions.
And you hit the nail on the head with that. It's when it feels forced or scripted.
Yeah, man.
That's when you get the disconnect from your client. And, when I call up a customer, whether it's my own clients or if it's a customer that I'm following up with on behalf of a client, I'm the same person, like through and through. Like anybody who does business with me, I make them feel like they are my only client. Like I care about their needs. I ask questions. I get involved. I try to get inside of their head and figure out what their goals are and what their aspirations are, what's important to them. I genuinely create bonded friendships with each one of my clients, whether we've met in person or not. And when I'm on the phone with them, that's conveyed. And I think it's important that you do that. And if you talk to every one of your clients, I always say to people, if it was your best friend, okay, that you sold a product or a service or something to.
Come on, this
car,
is good.
If you
Right, if it's your best friend.
if you wouldn't communicate with them in the way that you're currently communicating with your client,
Right.
don't do it. You wouldn't send your best friend a little manila card with silver writing that says happy birthday. No, you go out to Hallmark. You put in the time, you put in the effort, you handwrite a message, right? Same thing with a Christmas card or a birthday card, or if you're going to send a birthday or anniversary gift.
Right.
You put a little bit of thought into that. Or
Right.
if you're going to call that friend up,
Right.
you're not leaving some scripted, like robotic sounding message.
Right.
It's, hey, it's so and so, and I'm just calling to touch base and see how you
Right.
are. Not, oh, you bought a car from us 90 days ago, and we'd like to remind you that you're coming up for your first oil change. I can't tell
That
you.
sounds horrible.
It does. And that's how people sound. Most of the time when I get calls from car dealerships,
Right.
that's what it sounds like.
Right.
It sounds like they're just reading a script.
Right.
And if you just put the personal back into post sale,
Right.
you'll find that way more of those clients, if you treat them like they're your best friend or your family member,
Right.
more of those clients are going to convert and they're going to send people to you. Repeat and referral business. And that's going to account for so much more growth in your dealership, so many more sales, better CSI, and a lot more happy people in your community. It's just the truth.
Well, that sounds like a good note to kind of wind this thing up. Can we? I'm putting you on the spot here. We didn't talk about this at all.
That's okay. You can put me on
I'm
the spot.
assuming I'm okay with saying that if someone reaches out to you, contacts you, and puts something like hashtag the Recruiter Podcast, you'd give them a little discount or deal.
I'll always take care of people. Everything I do is about
Okay.
creating deals. But the one thing, and I said this while you were in the bathroom,
Yeah.
I don't have a set pricing model. I
Right.
get that question a lot.
Right. You can't.
I
It's
won't do
Either
it.
do we. Well, we do, but we don't.
Because
Everything's different.
every business is different.
Yeah, man.
And I tailor exactly what we do to their needs, to their wants, to their goals, and to their type of a client. So what I do for an auto dealership is going to be totally different than what I do for an audiologist. And I have both of those clients
Right.
and actively do work for both of them.
Right.
But it's a totally different
Right.
formula.
How about individual sales?
I do. And it's funny you mentioned that. So TJ and I were just talking. Shout out to my VP, TJ Maui. The guy's amazing. We are actually going to start doing a social media based program and branding specifically for individual
I think that's
individual
brilliant.
sales consultants. And then we try to do everything like on a 30-day test run because I really want to create the relationship with the person I'm doing stuff with. So once we kind of get an idea and feel for your social and how you market and your ability to follow up, then at that point we can make recommendations. And we do also have a really cool, it's a reciprocity assessment that dealers or sales consultants can take that it actually will force you to go into your CRM and audit a deal or deals. You can do as many as you want. When we do our full retention audit with dealers, we go through about 100 different deals and we ask a series of about 30 questions for each one of those deals to find out when the last time the customer was followed up with, when if they got a thank you card or a birthday card, if they've done business with the dealership since. And you can go on my Retention Masters page, it's pinned to the top, and you can go take that free assessment and it will tell you exactly where you're falling short and what you need to change. And if you want, we can hop on a call. Again, my advice is always free. Obviously, I can't do creative and I can't do everything for everybody, but
Right.
I'll tell you exactly
You
what
try.
I think. I do, but I'll tell you what I think. I'll give you critique. I'll show you what we do and how we can affect you, change your business. And in the grand scheme of things, considering that dealers spend an average of $640 per sold unit, just an advertising budget, that's per delivered car, we charge typically less than 10% of that
Right.
to keep them happy and coming back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think an individual thing with the way the business seems to be going in terms of personal branding for salespeople and well, even management, on behalf of their dealership and on their behalf. Yeah, that'd be a nice piece of the puzzle for your company.
Yeah, and on our page too, I mean, we offer like customized, like we do customized follow-up gifts, customized air freshener, like little air fresheners you can order. I do customized glassware. We do like all kinds of like customized postcards, and you can order them just like in individual a la carte. Like even if you don't hire us to do all of your stuff,
And that's on your site.
Yeah, if you just want like the printable type of stuff, I mean, mean, I personally, I've been a creator and designer since I was 14 years old. So I work with you and I will create whatever it is that you want. And you get that and we send them out to you. And you can order those in quantities of 100, 250, 500, whatever you want. So if you just want to have something personal without the added expense of saying, hey, I want to pay you to do all of it for me, we can create that. So literally, like whatever your brain can come up with that you want to do, I'm here to do that. I'm here to create. I'm here to help you with your social media page. I'm here to help you with post-sale follow-up. We do all of that. Everything retention, if it's retention-based, we do it. So,
all right. For those of you crazy people that have listened to Michelle and I for the last 3.5 hours, get a life or get off the weed or whatever you're doing. No. For those of you that are still listening, and there are some, and then people that go back on the replay and listen to the whole thing, or
the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, the way I suggest these long form podcasts, how to eat an elephant one piece at a time, right? Really, you take 30, 40 minutes a day, and within a week, you got the whole podcast in, because there's valuable information. This is a good podcast. Today's. They were all good, but this was pretty enlightening. A lot of good,
Thank you.
Tremendous information. So please share this out. Share this to groups that you belong to. Share this to friends. Share this on your timelines.
And share to Craig's page that he needs to sign a contract with me and let me do his follow-up for AutoMax.
Yeah, you can actually say that as well. Not that it'll matter, but you can say that as well. You did come up in our... No, I don't have that notepad with me, but you were in the notes that we went over the other day during our meeting. So I'll get back to you on that in the next few days. But
you got it, my friend.
I so appreciate you come. Oh, one more time, go through how people can get a hold of you.
I am all over. So I am the queen of social media. So you can reach me on my personal page. You can check out our Facebook page for Retention Masters. I also have a blog that a lot of people don't know that I created back in 2013. Specifically, it started as a blog for women in the automotive industry, and now it literally is a melting pot of the best trainers, the best recruiters, the best everything, like the best information out there. So I can sell cars and stilettos. That's on Facebook as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, so if you guys are just looking for information or you're just getting started, we do have a private women's Facebook group as well. It's attached to that. But really anywhere. I mean, again, my cell phone, 843-743-3636. Text is best there. You can also go to my website, which is www.theretentionmasters.com. There's a form to fill out there if you want some quick information. You can also take our retention assessment. That's a free tool that's on our Facebook page. So we're really easy to get in touch with.
if you would put some of those some of that information in the comment section of the Automotive Recruiting Podcast portion of this.
Yeah, you got it. For sure.
How they can get a hold of you and all that.
Or you can call Craig. Craig likes to bother me, so he has all my contact information too.
Yeah, that's absolutely no problem whatsoever.
And if you are looking for a great way to get great employees at your dealership, I will have to say this. Like AutoMax Recruiting, these people are amazing. They will find you quality employees. Yes, you're going to have to do your due diligence to keep them, but if you're looking for an innovative way to find employees and onboard, I highly recommend AutoMax.
Thank you, darling.
For sure.
I appreciate that. I really appreciate you coming in here today. It's
no problem.
Big sacrifice on your part, and it's...
No, absolutely. I wouldn't have missed it for the world.
I
Or Frankie's
appreciate
party. I'm just glad we got a chance to make it all happen while I was up here.
Me too.
For sure.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. You guys rock. You're awesome. And we're out. Peace.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo. That was awesome, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, you rocked it.
Thank you.
Great job. That was awesome.
I appreciate that.
Awesome job. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I love what I do. I really do. I love this.